to secure all of these infrastructure. So, like, I don't know. Sorry, apologies for those that are not Christians. Even the Bible says, if the foundation is destroyed, what shall the righteous do? So the infrastructure is more like a foundation, like you are laying a foundation. So if the infrastructure layer is breached, if the infrastructure is a foundation. So if the infrastructure layer is breached, so every other application that are running on those infrastructures, they are exposed. They're exposed. So that is why I want you to think of infrastructure like the foundation of a house, right? So if the foundation has cracks, or even if you spent millions of naira to do your interiors and all of that, that house will still collapse. So infrastructure security is very, very important, and it helps us to ensure that we have a solid foundation, right? You can see here on my screen, where I talked about the overview of what infrastructure actually is. And I said it focuses on securing our cloud infrastructure. This is your computer, your storage, your networks, your
You've not adjusted your slide. You cannot see the second slide that you're talking about.
What are you seeing currently?
The infrastructure applications and incident response, just the front page.
Seeing the first slide.
I guess that's network. Oh. Okay, let me stop
Can see
sharing
it.
and reshare. You
No,
can see
it's
it now.
okay now. Yes.
Okay.
Infrastructure and networking is what you are on, right?
Yes, yes.
Or yes, that's what it is displaying.
Okay. Thank you for noting that out. All right, so just like I said, I've mentioned what infrastructure actually is, and when we talk about infrastructure security, I've actually dwelt on that. So I've told us, why it is very important that we secure our infrastructures. It is very, very important, and in this overview here, I also said it covers design, segmentation, your routing, and your access control. So let's take for example now. Um, let's say an attacker gains access to your cloud network, right? So once they gain access to your cloud network, they can pivot to your databases. They can also pivot to your applications, or maybe your internal systems. You understand? Or let's say, for example, in a bank, a person enters, the call network of a bank. They could access transactions, your servers, all of those things. They're so vulnerable. So these are the reasons why it's very, very important that we are able to secure our infrastructure. It is very, very important that we are able to secure our infrastructure. And here we have the why importance of infrastructure security, which is why it is necessary for us to secure our infrastructures. um, Here I said it forms the backbone of all cloud services. So just like I mentioned earlier, that you know it is like a foundation. So everything that you use, they are built upon that foundation. So once the foundation is destroyed, which is the infrastructure layer, once it is destroyed, everything that is on that foundation, everything that is on that infrastructure layer, they are destroyed too. They are very, very open to vulnerabilities. So it is very important that we should secure our infrastructures. And I've also given us examples of what infrastructures are. I said they are like our servers, our networks, our data centers. You also have on the screen here your storage, your networks, your connectivity. These are the things that we need to secure. These are the things that we need to secure, and it is very, very important that we secure them, to avoid breaches. Because once they are breached, every other thing is easily breached. Also, they are vulnerable. They are extremely vulnerable to being accessible by attackers, right? um so here we have the infrastructure security fundamentals. right? We have the infrastructure security fundamentals, you know. So this means that our cloud infrastructure, you know, just like you have it here, the components of what makes up your cloud infrastructure, you know, we have a computer, we have a storage, we have a networking, we have our identity, we have a virtualization layer. So securing them prevents unauthorized access, right? So securing them also prevents data theft and also
Hello, ma'am. Sorry,
system
I'm
improvement.
sorry for cutting you short, ma. I think we're having an issue with the network. Anytime you like move to the next slide, it's still showing the previous slide.
Hello?
Because
Hello?
Okay, can you see it
yeah,
Hello?
now?
yes, now
Hello?
it's
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, okay. It's okay. Now, okay, I'm just talking about the same issue in the slide. So it has now
It
come
is
back. But
it can be in a presentation mode. Let
it
it
has
be in a
gone, it has
presentation.
gone.
It
Hello?
is in a presentation mode. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay, okay. Okay. No problem. Thank you.
Can you all see it now?
Yeah, we can see it here.
We're
So
not
thank
You
seeing
you.
it.
can see it, right?
Yeah,
We are
we can see
seeing
it
it.
now.
All right.
You can go ahead. Thank you very
So,
much.
all right, you're welcome. So I was talking about what are the components that makes up a cloud infrastructure, and I'm giving examples, and you can also see on my screen here where you have your virtual machines, your containers, you have your storage, you have your virtual networks, you have your identity and access management, you have your DNS, you have your load balancers, right? You have your virtualization layers. So it's very important that we secure all of these things to prevent unauthorized access. Yes, to prevent unauthorized access. That's why um, uh, it is very, very important that we secure these things, right? So there's also security. Apologies. All right. So there's also the importance of ensuring the security of this infrastructure, right? And I have two bullet points here. Like I said, you can always go back to do your own research, right? Like make further research. So just for the sake of this training, so um, each component must be hardened to prevent misconfigurations, right? So also automated configuration, encryption, and strong identity and access management helps to reduce risk. All right, so let's take for example, right? Let's say your storage bucket is not configured. Let's say it's not configured properly, you know. So because your what's name your storage bucket is not properly configured, right? Your sensitive customer details, it is very, very easy to leak out because of improper configuration, right? So it is easy for your customer data to be publicly exposed. And so when we talk about customer is not just external customer, we mean both internal and external. Internal is those that are using within, and external is those that actually use the service you're providing for them, right? So it is very easy for a person to be able to access your customer data if your, for example, your storage bucket is not properly configured. So it's very important that we learn to configure all our infrastructures properly, and remember I said this, it is for us to prevent unauthorized access, right? It's to prevent data theft also, right? So these components that we've mentioned here, your computer, that is your vms are your virtual machines, your containers. We also have the storage that talks about your block, your objects storage. um there's also the virtual networks, your VPCs, your routing and stuff. Then you have your identity access management, which talks about permissions, and defining roles and responsibilities, right? Um, so it's like you locking your car door, right? So even if even if you are parked in a safe neighborhood, you still need to uh, ensure that your car doors are properly closed. Anything can happen. You leave the window of your car open, anybody can stretch their hand into your car and do whatever it is they want to do, right? They could easily tweak your without your key. There are people who can actually open your car door without having your key. So but then without the window being opened, right, you've locked all the things that needs to be locked, right? You've put measures in place to ensure security of your car, so you will not
Hello,
be able to
madam.
have unauthorized access. Sorry, who is speaking? Can that person please
It's
mute
like
their mic?
someone's microphone is on. Someone microphone is on, and
Please,
we can hear some
if your
children
microphone is on,
distracting.
please turn it off, please turn your microphone off if your microphone is on, please.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning, ma. Hello.
I can hear you.
Please, just talk to admin. Let's check the the participant. If the microphone, because you can hear
You're not
some
audible,
background
your
noise.
voice is quite low, I cannot hear you properly.
What you are saying, I said the host cannot check the participant to see whose mic is open so that they can mute him, or the background noise is from your side. We don't know. So that's why we're just hearing background things.
uh, yes,
Background
sorry.
noises. So we don't know whether it's from your side or from the participant. Maybe someone's, left his mic unmuted.
Someone's mic was turned on.
Okay. So thank you very much.
All right, so please going forward, right? We do not have a lot of time. So please going forward, if you have any question, please drop it in the chat box so that you don't get me distracted. I am really, really distracted, and we do not have a lot of time today. We do not have a lot of time, and there's still a lot to cover. So please let's limit our um conversations to the chat box. So when I'm done, then you can ask your questions. Except you're not seeing my screen, or maybe you cannot hear me. That's the only time you should unmute, please. I beg you, please, to avoid distractions. I'm really distracted. Is that okay? Is that okay with everybody before I go on?
Yes,
Yes,
ma,
please.
yes,
Very
ma.
fine. Okay, it's
All right.
okay.
All right. Thank you. So here we have the cloud networking models. So cloud networking model, right, is built around our virtual networks. It's built around our virtual networks. So these things, they act like an isolated environment inside your cloud, where you can place your servers and your applications, right? Okay. um let me switch my background. I think there's a lot of noise coming from my background personally. Sorry, is this better now?
Yes, ma.
Is it better
Yes,
now? All right.
yes, it's better. Yes, it's better.
Yes.
And also, sorry, please, you need to click on the next slide, the one you are talking about presently, because we are still seeing your previous slide. Thank you.
I'm seeing cloud net. I'm showing cloud networking models. Is that what you're seeing?
No, ma, no,
No,
ma.
ma.
No, I'm not saying
Cloud
the we're still on cloud infrastructure component.
What is really wrong today?
Maybe you should just put it in a presentation mode, normal presentation
Um,
mode. So
yes, it is on presentation mode. It is actually on presentation mode from my end.
Maybe you should
I
share
don't.
the one presented, not this one we are seeing then.
Mm, please hold on. Let's see if I can make this work. Can you see my screen now? And is it on presentation mode?
Yeah, yeah, we can see it's on
Yes,
presentation
Yes,
mode
yes,
now.
now
yes,
That's
perfect,
presentation.
cloud
perfect.
networking models, right? Yes,
Yes,
cloud
it's
networking
on
model. Yeah,
cloud
we can see
networking
now.
module.
It is now
It's
in
on
presentation
presentation
mode.
mode.
Yeah, it is now on
Okay.
presentation. We can continue, sir, now.
All right.
Yeah, you're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. Thank you. All right. So I was talking about our cloud networking models, and I said our cloud is built around our virtual networks and subnets, right? So these they act like an isolated environment inside our cloud where we can place our servers and also place our applications. So inside the virtual network here, you use your subnets, to organize your resources. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Your subnets are what you use to organize your resources. So one subnet might, handle your web servers, another database, then another internal services. Do you understand? So your subnets are used in your virtual network to organize your resources. So I just mentioned the resources, for example, while one subnet is handling your web servers, another subnet can be handling your database. Another subnet can also be handling your internal services, right? So um and then for your hybrid connectivity, right? So hybrid connectivity is when an organization, they connect to their physical office, right? Or let's say their data center, when they connect it to the cloud. That's hybrid connectivity. There's a place of you having your data center on-prem, there's on-prem, right? So but hybrid connectivity is when an organization is connecting their physical office. They no longer use the on-prem, they now want to migrate to the cloud. That is hybrid connectivity. So and this is typically done through our VPNs, or let's say our dedicated private links. So you have if you look at my screen here, I said virtual networks, they are logical networks set for isolating workloads, which the subnets handle. And they also help to control traffic using our routing tables and our ACLs, right? And so there's also the hybrid connectivity, which helps us to connect our on-prem to cloud using VPN or dedicated circuits. And also um, there's also the one of helping us ensure that we secure the extension of our enterprise networks. So a very simple example would be let's say a bank might want to keep their core banking system on premise, like on prem, right? But they've connected it securely to the cloud for proper analytics, right? So virtual network and hybrid connectivity, they make this integration seamless. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. We said there are two networking models: the virtual network subnet, and then we have the hybrid connectivity. So I gave an example of a bank wants to move they want to they want their core banking application to stay on prem, but they want to connect it securely to the cloud. So how our models come in is the virtual networks and the subnets and hybrid connectivity. They make the integration of putting the core banking application on prem, connecting it to they make the integration very seamless. They make it very seamless. So that's the purpose of our cloud networking models. So I've switched my screen. Can you all see it? I'm on software defined networking. Are we there? Please, can you confirm that is what you are seeing so I can carry on? Please, can you confirm that you can see SDN on my screen? The SDN slide so that I can carry on, please. All right. So thank you. So some of us might be wondering what SDN actually is. So SDN, which is a software defined networking. So wherever you see SDN when it comes to cloud security, you know that so whenever you see SDN, you know that when it comes to cloud security, SDN refers to software defined networking. Software defined networking, right? So um SDN is actually, or it means that a network that is controlled through our software rather than our physical switches, right? So you can see on the screen here where I define that network control is managed through software instead of hardware. That is controlling of your networks, right? Instead of managing it through your hardware, they are managed through software. Do you understand? So this helps us to ensure that we have a centralized programmable network policies, right? So which means that you can create networks, right? You can create networks, you can change your routing, you can add controls even without touching your hardware, right? So SDN controllers are actually very needed, right, for your identity and access management, for your multi-factor authentication, for your login. That is the purpose of software defined networking, and there are benefits and risks to this particular process. And the one of the benefits is flexibility. It is very very flexible. That is, I just mentioned one of the I just mentioned the benefits. That is, you can create your networks. I also mentioned that you can add controls without even touching your hardware. You can change your routing also. So but there's also a risk to this thing. There's a risk tied to it. And the risk is that if someone, maybe compromises the SDN management system, they can also control the entire network. Like they can become the controller general of the entire network. So it's very very important that we secure it, because it is very easy for a person to be able to penetrate through this and take control over the entire network. And once a person you don't want that to happen in your organization, right? So just like I documented here, that controller compromise, then widespread misconfigurations, all of this will happen if the software defined networking is not properly managed. If it is not properly managed, something like this is going to happen, and I'm sure we do not want that to actually happen. I'm sure we will want to prevent that from happening, right? All right. Um, so SDN, software defined networking, it helps us to separate our network control from the hardware, just like I've said. So you manage your network through your software, not through your physical routers. So you use your software, and this helps us to have it helps us to have fast changes. It helps us to have consistent policies. It helps us to have a centralized control. It also helps us to have automation of our processes. So, and like I said, if an SDN is compromised, trust me, the entire network is compromised. Once it is compromised, because you're using your, it's very easy for a person to be able to control the SDN. It's very easy. Once they can have access to it, they can, control the entire thing. It's just like saying a person is having one remote control that controls all the TV in a building. So if the person just press off button on that remote, all the TVs are going off. Or let's say the person says they wants to change the station. That is everything, and you all will not have any choice than to watch what it is that the person is whatever it is the person is switching to, right? So SDN is convenient. It's very, very convenient, but it is also very risky. So which helps us to know that it requires a lot of security. It requires a lot of security. So the things that I'm teaching us here today are infrastructure application, and our infrastructure security, that is securing our infrastructures. I've mentioned before, this is also an infrastructure that needs to be secured, right? So just like I said, we have three domains today. We also have the application, and then we have the incident response. So currently we are still on infrastructure alone. So when we get to application, you will know. So these, I'm just telling us infrastructures, and how to ensure their security. Also, how to ensure their security. All right. So we have the micro segmentation and zero trust. Micro segmentation and zero trust, right? Which means that or so let me just put it in simple terms for you, right? So micro segmentation limits how system communicates. Basically, it limits how our systems communicate with each other. So you can see on the screen here that it limits lateral movement by isolating network modes. It limits network movement by isolating workloads, and also enforces least privilege communication. So micro segmentation actually means, you breaking your network into very small isolated systems. I'm sure you understand what isolation means. So is saying you're breaking your network into very small isolated sections, so that the systems don't talk to each other. That's basically what micro segmentation is. So, and zero trust is saying that or zero trust is a principle that says don't trust anything, just like the way you all used to say don't trust anyone. Yes, there's also zero trust when it comes to cloud security. Don't trust anything. Ensure that you verify. Ensure that you always verify the identity, verify the device, verify permissions. Make sure that you always verify. Don't say no, there is no how do I put that English now? There is no you think, no, there's no thinking when it comes to zero issues or zero trust principles. You need to ensure that you need to adequately ensure that yes, you have verified all that needs to be verified. Trust nobody. Anything can happen any day, anytime, right? Ensure that you always verify. So let's say you walk into an hotel now, right? And your key only opens the door to your room, not the whole floor, right? So that is zero trust micro segmentation example. Your key is opening just your door, just your own door. No other door can use that key. That is, the hotel is a big how do I put it? Uh, is a big this thing, and then they've segmented each rooms, which makes I defined micro segmentation to putting our workloads into small sections, right? So the small sections are the hotel rooms. The entire building is the workload. So making those workload, putting them into small sections. So, and I gave the example of, an hotel. An hotel, when you go to an hotel, the key they give you cannot use it to open another hotel room. It's not possible. So every room has its own special key. Every room has its own special key. Also, I talked about ensuring that we verify. Never don't trust when it comes to cloud security. No trust anybody, just like they say, right? So ensure that you verify things before you can say you want to go ahead. Ensure that you verify. It is very important. So I also mentioned that continuous authentication and strict access policies. So there's a place of putting the appropriate policies in place, right? So um there's a place of putting the appropriate policies in place. Make sure that those policies are being followed by every. Nobody can say I don't know. When they say there's this saying that where there's no law there's no sin. Abi, how do they say it? So but then, if people, there is a law, there is a policy that must be followed, right? And there needs to be continuous authentication. There's no such thing as saying you already know this person before, but mm-mm. Make sure that you continue to authenticate. Make sure that you also have strict policies in place to be able to back up um your access policies. Also ensure that never trust. I'll say it again and I'll keep saying, never trust anyone. Verify everything and anything. Security is very, very important. Ensure that you verify everything and anything. It is very important. Please ensure you verify everything and anything. um so let's go to our SASE, which means secure access service edge. It's an infrastructure, right? Um it is a, I would say it is a modern security model. Yeah, I'm sure many of you might not be familiar with this particular infrastructure, right? So, but it is a network security model, right? That actually combines, our networking and our security in one cloud-based service. Combining networking and security in one cloud service. Do you understand? You can see it on the screen here where I defined what it is. Combined networking with security, right? The SD1 is a type of networking, and then your security, your CSSB, your FWAAS, ZTNA, it helps you to combine all of them in one cloud. Ensure that they are delivered, their services that are delivered in the cloud, right? So it offers like a secure remote access. It offers this SASC, it offers like a secure remote access. It also gives us um identity driven controls. Yeah, I'll put it like that. It gives us identity driven controls and helps us to inspect traffic. So you can see it in the benefits here. I said consistent protection for remote or mobile users. Yes, so it offers secure remote access. um so this SASC is also very useful. It's very useful when employees can connect from anywhere. you know if you notice, these days banks can now work from home, unlike before. You are a banker, you cannot work in your house. You have to be on prem. You have to be physical. You have to be at the physical office. You have to be on ground to be able to work directly from the bank, right? So but then these days, if you notice, we have bankers that they now do remote working also. They can now work from anywhere. It's because of this SASC. They've been able to implement the secure access service edge, so that employees can now work from anywhere. They can connect to the data center from anywhere, right? So whether you're at the office or whether in your house or whether you're at the airport, you can connect. So this SAS just helps us to ensure that all our traffics, they are checked, they are secured before we get to the cloud environment. That is what this secure access service edge. So before you get to that cloud environment, this particular infrastructure will ensure that yes, everything that needs to be checked has been checked before they can say they want to allow you log into the cloud environment. So this is a way of ensuring security to our cloud environment. So anybody cannot just have access to the cloud environment, right? So the SASC is very important. It helps us to combine our networking and security together. Do not forget. Please do not forget. It helps us to connect our networking and our security together. So is we can say that the SASC is like is a cloud-based architecture, that helps us to combine networking and security together in the cloud. Basically, I want you to memorize that. SASE, acronym SASE, helps us to combine both our networking and our security together into a unified service on the cloud. Do you understand? So I've also mentioned the benefit that comes with it. We can have a securely remote access. Your employees can work from anywhere it is that they are. There's also it guarantees protection also. You know, so I actually I used a bank as an example that let's say a bank has branches nationwide, right? So they can use this SASC, not that they can use, they use it. So banks use this SASC to securely connect all their staff together and their applications without uh all these your on-prem firewalls in each branch. So they do not need to be like an on-prem firewall. They can all connect to the cloud service. And them connecting the cloud service, they've also ensured network and security, because if there's no network and security, the cloud environment would not allow you have access. You will not have access to it. So that's basically what SASC does. So it has made work easier for everyone. Sorry. It has made the job easier for everyone. So we also have, sorry, I'm kind of in a haste because of time. So you will have access to uh, these slides that I've created, and like I said, you need to go back and do further research. Right. So we also have our network security controls. We have network security controls. We have our firewalls, we have our ACLs, we have our monitoring tools also, right? So all of these things, they are tools that we use to they are tools that we use to filter, or let's say to allow, or maybe to block traffic. Yes. So we use firewalls. Firewalls are actually used to control incoming and outgoing traffic. That is what firewall is actually is. It helps us to manage our incoming and outgoing traffic. So it's more like a bridge. Whatever traffic that is incoming has to go through the firewall, and if it's outgoing also, it has to go through the firewall also. So it's like a middleman. The firewall is like a middleman. So firewalls helps us to control our incoming and outgoing traffic. Just like you can see on my screen, it enforce inbound and outbound traffic rules at network boundaries. That's basically what firewalls is. So firewalls, in simple terms, helps us to manage our incoming and outgoing traffic. Right. Also, there's the access control list, ACLs, right? So ACLs, ACLs, they give restriction to who can connect to what. They give restriction who can connect to what. Anybody cannot just say they want to connect. No. So as the firewalls are, enforcing our inbound and outbound traffic rules. The ACLs then ensures who can connect to what, make sure that the with the traffic there is a control or measure to put in place for who can connect to this, who can connect, who can have access to this, who can connect to what. That's basically what ACL is. I've also given us the full meaning. ACLs means access control list. Access control list, a list of access controls, you know, telling us who can connect to what, who can have access to what, basically. So just like you have on my screen here, that it basically allow or deny rules for your IP, your port, your protocol filtering. So in simple terms, ACLs, access control list, ACLs helps us to define who has access to what, who can connect to what. Do you understand? Also, the other network security control here, we have the monitoring. We have the monitoring. You know, monitoring also requires tools. Your CM tools also. I'm sure you understand what CM is. SIEM. Your security, your event monitoring tools. So monitoring tools are very, very important to have appropriate control on your network security, right? So monitoring tools, they help you to see, you know, unusual, they can detect unusual activities, like maybe a port scanning, or maybe like an unauthorized access attempt. If a person, if a person who is not authorized try to access the monitoring tools, they will alert you immediately. So most organizations use this, to prevent, is a proactive measure. Monitoring, I'll say, is a proactive measure, right? You plan ahead. The essence of monitoring too is to be able to, before an attacker will have access to your data. The monitoring tool already, there's like a threshold set, right? So the monitoring tool actually alerts you immediately the tiniest breach is about to occur, right? The monitoring tool actually helps out with that. Apologies about that. So these three controls, they are network security controls. Your firewalls, which manages or controls your ingoing and outgoing traffic. Then you have your ACLs, which gives us definition to who can connect to what, who can have access to what. Those things are already defined. If you don't have access, you cannot have access. Except you are given access, you cannot have access. So it's a control that be put in place to ensure that there is control of access. If an issue happens, I know one who have access to it, so it's you to be between those that have access to it, right? So there's also the place of monitoring to ensure that our network are secure, to ensure monitoring of our events and all that. Like I said, it is a proactive measure that's been put in place to ensure security, right? So um I wanted to give an example. Okay, let's say for example, like a developer, let's say a developer accidentally opens a database on the internet, right? So the monitoring tools that you have, they alert, the alerts of those monitoring tools, they will quickly help you to detect uh this anomaly before the damage will occur. Before they will actually place the attack, the anomaly of they try to even open the database, the monitoring tool will alert you already. So you immediately then provide a solution to it. So you having monitoring tool means that there are people who are on ground to actually oversee it 247. So you can, have staff shifts. Yes, you can do shift for the staff that will be, doing this monitoring, because you cannot open your eyes 247 every single day. It's not possible. So it's more like it's a shift based, but then the thing is, you must always ensure that your monitoring tools are up and running, and there are also people on ground every single minute, every single second, to monitor um every of the events that happens. All right, so let's move to our hybrid cloud connectivity. Although I've given like a background to it before of what a hybrid connectivity is, when I said you can connect your physical office or your data center to the cloud. That's basically what hybrid connectivity is. So these hybrid connectivities, they basically use your VPNs, they use private links also. So for you to be able to connect to the cloud, you need a VPN or private links. So what are VPNs? VPNs are like our uh encrypted connection over the public internet. Most of you use VPN. Most of us use VPN, right? So it's an encrypted connectivity. That's why you see that when you use VPN, for example, you want to access some sites, maybe they say, for example, Nigerians are not allowed, you turn your VPN and then you can have access to it. Why? Because the VPN has encrypted your IP address. So and then it encrypts your connection over the public internet, right? It is an encrypted connection over the public internet. So there's also the place of private links. What are these private links used for? They are dedicated uh they are dedicated lines with with high security and reliability. They can be highly relied upon. They are private links. Private, there's difference between private and public. So private links, they are private, and they are it is dedicated for just it's not everybody that has access to it. It's dedicated uh for some persons or for some purposes, just to ensure higher security and reliability. With that private link, people that have access to that link, right? Um so, and the funnest part about this is there's also a risk to it. I've addressed it before, but I'll say it again. There's a risk to, using the hybrid cloud connectivity. So, um, a risk is, if you misconfigure your VPN tunnel, right, it can expose your internal networks, or it can even cause outages for you. So if your VPN credentials are actually stolen, your attackers can get direct access. If the encrypted, we say VPNs are encrypted, right? So if your VPN, if the credentials that are stolen, they have access to that data, trust me, they already have direct access to your services, whatever services it is that you have. They already have direct access to it. So make sure that you make sure that you have um accurate configurations. Make sure that you do not have misconfigurations. Make sure that you do not have redundancy. Make sure you do not have redundancy, right? Ensure that you solve or sort out any routing issues that there can be, because this is actually quite vulnerable, and once they have access to it, you're gone. Let's not beat about the bush. Once they have access to it, you're gone. So ensure that you secure the connectivity of your hybrid cloud. It is very important. And your hybrid cloud, your VPNs, your private links, make sure that all the datas or the credentials, they are adequately secured, so that people don't have unauthorized access. People who are not supposed to have access to it then start to have access to it, right? So let us ensure that we are able to secure all of these things. Please, it is very important. It is very, very important. So, um, yeah, let's move to our infrastructure resiliency. So, here we'll be talking about our redundancy and disaster recovery. So I mentioned in the last slide about redundancy. So you might not really understand what redundancy is. So, but here redundancy is an infrastructure resiliency. So what does resiliency means? Resiliency is, ensuring that our systems they stay online even if a component fail, even if a disruption happens, right? So resiliency is ensuring that we are up and running. Our systems are always uptime regardless of maybe a particular component fails. So here you can see there's redundancy, which talks about your multi-AZ religions, your region deployment, sorry. You have your backups, you have your load balancing. All of these, they are measures to ensure that your systems they stay upright. They are uptime. They are uptime. They are measures. So like I said, you have your backups. So they are failover servers. That is why we always encourage organizations to carry out. We always encourage organizations to carry out failover tests. Carry out failover tests on your systems. It's very important. You need to ensure that yes, the plans that you have put in place they are adequate and running. So there's also the place of disaster recovery, right? Your disaster recovery is having your plans, your backups, your defined RTO, RPO for rapid restoration. So in the case of disruption, to ensure that your business continues to stay up and running, that's the process of having a disaster recovery. It's more like a backup plan. So for example, let's use COVID as an example. When COVID happened back then, people um there are some organizations that actually failed. Why? Because they did not put these measures in place. They do not have a BCP or disaster recovery. Neither do they have like a redundancy this thing in place to ensure that their business continues to stay up and running regardless of the disruption that happens. So it's like a plan that you fall back on. If a plan that you fall back on to ensure that you continue to stay up and running. Is there are measures that you put in place. So this is what we call infrastructure resiliency. Infrastructure resiliency. And I've defined what resiliency actually is. Ensuring your system stay online. So how do you ensure your system stays online? By putting these measures in place. Having your backups, your business continuity plans. Having your defined RTOs and RPOs, ensuring that you be able to restore your services as quickly as possible in the case of a disruption. That is what infrastructure resiliency actually speaks about. Also, we have our container networking. How many of us have heard about Kubernetes before? It might be the first time. It might be the first time that some of us are hearing about Kubernetes, right? So okay, too bad that I cannot see our chat box for now. Apologies, and I cannot actually go into that chat box for now. So so Kubernetes, or let's talk about container. So we are doing container networking basically. And containers are like wait, how many people, let me go to the chat box. Hold on, let me stop sharing. Let's go to the chat box. I want to see how many people actually knows about what Kubernetes. How many of you have heard about Kubernetes before? I'm in a chat box. Hey, I'm trying to look at. You haven't, Big Dave. You said you haven't heard about Kubernetes. Any other person? Ah, more. Okay, so majority of us have not actually heard about Kubernetes before. All right, it's just an open source platform. I'm sure you all know what open source actually is. Kayode, okay, okay. You want me to spell it, Big Dave? Okay, Kubernetes, Kubernetes, right? So is an open source platform, is an open source platform that helps us to automate our deployment, our scaling, managing of our centralized application. That's basically what Kubernetes is. So then we then have container networking, right? So I've said that Kubernetes is an open source tool, right? So and all right, let me continue sharing. I'm sure you now know what Kubernetes actually is. Yeah, management of containerized applications. Yes, it's an open source tool. It's an open source tool actually. Let me continue sharing my screen. I hope that I'll not have issue on this screen again. Hey God, please hold on. Just to ensure that we'll not have any issues again. Kindly let me know when you can see my screen. Just react. Just give a reaction. All right. So container networking. So containers are like those in Kubernetes, right? They are lightweight. These tools, they are fast, they are reliable, they are scalable, basically, right? So but they also have network challenges. I'm sure some of us have used open source tools before, so you have an idea of what open source tools, right? So Kubernetes or Kubernetes, maybe I'm the one that is not pronouncing it properly, right? So Kubernetes, they have like many moving parts, right? So there are pods, there are nodes, there are services, all of these things, they communicate over the network. They communicate over the network. So, but then all of these things, so we are saying that for container networking, all of these things, they introduce networking challenges. They introduce networking challenges and there are risks to it. There are risks to it. So, um, just like you can see on my screen here, Kubernetes risks, uh, they expose our APIs, our permissive network defaults, our lateral movement risk, and all. So, the risk to using Kubernetes like an open source tool, for securing your cloud services, the risk is that it can be an overly open communication. Yes, your APIs are also insecure. They are very insecure. Remember, it is an open source tool. It is an open source tool. That's like a risk that comes with using an open source tool, right? So it can also help you to have misconfigured network policies using an open source tool. Using an open source tool. So what I'm talking about is not just for Kubernetes alone, right? I'm talking about risks that comes with using our open source tools, basically. So it's an overly open communication. I can go there. It's not as secure as you know, buying your own this thing on the cloud, buying um your own tool, acquire your own personal tools, right? So open source tool, yeah, it is more affordable than buying your own licensed tools yourself, but it also comes with risk, right? Your APIs are insecure, your you have misconfigurations, it is open, very very open, very very open. All right, so your network policies. So when you create network policies for these things, they help to limit your containers. They help to limit how these your containers can uh, relate with one another, right? So um, um, your network policies, they help you to reduce your attack let's say one of your services is compromised, the network policies that have been put in place helps you to reduce the spread of attacks, right? So you can see your network policies, you have your pod level traffic rules enforcing deny by default. So that is where you're having overly open communication between your pods. Also, there are CNI plugins, support controlled communication also. So you can go further and read on container networking, and you can actually go back and uh, look into different open source tools basically. Yeah. All right. So we have the last one on infrastructure. So we have the infrastructure monitoring and telemetry. I've actually spoken about this monitoring. I've spoken about monitoring before now. And monitoring is very, very important when it comes to security. When it comes to ensuring security, your monitoring is very, very, very important, right? They are very important. So, what is telemetry? I'm just going to define telemetry because some of us might not have heard it before. So, there's something called telemetry. So, telemetry helps us to, collect our data on traffic. It helps us to know our usage patterns. It helps us to also identify our anomalies. It helps us to identify our anomalies. So, infrastructure monitoring and telemetry. So you can see how they relate now. So while we have monitoring tools, so telemetry now helps us to, collect the data on all of these things, our usage patterns. It helps us to collect data on our traffic also, right? So the tools that we use for these things, we have our flow logs. You have your VPC flow logs, you have your CloudWatch, you can use Azure, you have your Azure Monitor also, you have your GCP login, right? So um all of this is so imagine, let's look at this scenario like there's a sudden spike in your outbound traffic at midnight, right? So this might indicate like a data exfiltration. It can indicate a data exfiltration, right? So um having monitoring tools and telemetry to help you collect your usage data, your traffic, your anomalies, and all of that. All right. So for those who don't understand what anomalies actually are, um So sorry. So anomalies, just as defined on my screen here, they help you to detect unexpected spikes, unauthorized access attempts, or lateral movements. That's the place of telemetry, right? Helping you to or collect data on these things, right? So they also trigger alerts for investigating investigating purposes basically. So that's the purpose of monitoring and telemetry, right? So the trigger alert, you remember, telemetry is part of uh, anomalies is part of telemetry basically. So when you have your monitoring tools or ground, then telemetry helps you to analyze. um, it gives you analysis on your usage, the data traffic and all that, just for you to be able to investigate, for you to be able to detect unexpected spikes, right? So we can see that it's very important that we monitor our tools. So flow logs, for example, flow logs, they help you to capture the information about traffic in your environment basically, and that is telemetry. So it's not the content, but like the source, the destination, your ports, your protocols, right? So using these flow logs, it can help you to it can Using flow log can help you to detect anomalies. It can help you to detect anomalies. So basically, or in conclusion, telemetry actually gives us, a visibility to our infrastructure behavior, so that our security teams can, they can respond on time as they should using telemetry, right? It gives us visibility to the behavior of our infrastructures through the analysis it is that you've done, right? So, and it also helps the security teams to, know what to do and how to respond as early as possible whenever an issue happens, due to the analysis that are being carried out, due to the detectings, the investigations, and all of that. So, in summary, when it comes to the infrastructure security, right? So I'm just going to summarize it with these best practices. The first one is for you to ensure that you enforce segmentation and zero trust. The other one is for which is, to segment your network and apply zero trust. The other one is adding your VMs, networks, and identity access management. That is, use your SDN controls, use them securely. Make sure to use them securely. Also, you need to secure your hybrid connections. You need to implement monitoring and telemetry is very important. Also, you need to apply redundancy and disaster recovery. Do not over that cannot be overemphasized, right? Also, make sure that you use, strong access controls and apologies. Make sure that you use strong access controls, and, ensure continual review of your configuration items. It is very, very important. Make sure. So if you put all of these practices into place, they help you to collectively strengthen your cloud infrastructure security, and also, help you to reduce the impact of threats. So this is all we have when it comes to our infrastructure security. So quickly, let's move to, we are running behind schedule, I think. All right, let's quickly move to our application security. So now we are shifting from infrastructure to applications, right? So our application security basically helps us to focus on, how we protect our software and the APIs that our users interact with, basically, right? So our mobile apps, our web applications, our back end services, our cloud native applications. So the application security helps us on protecting all of these softwares together, because, most attacks today, you know they happen at the application layer, because, it is the closest point to the user. It is the closest point to the user. So it makes it easier for attackers to, test your weaknesses. It makes it easy for attackers to test your weaknesses. And some of the common, application threats that happens when it comes to application security are, your injection attacks. You can see it here: app layer attacks. You have injection, XSS, API abuse. You have your authorization bypass, which is your authentication or your insecure coding. You have your API abuse. You have your misconfigurations also. Misconfigurations, you know right from the beginning of this training today, you've been hearing a lot about misconfiguration, which tells you how important it is for you to have, or to continue to review your configuration. Ensure that your configurations are very, very accurate, right? So ensure that you do not have a weak authentication also. That's why you see that these days, when you want to, like, your authentication, after you input your password, they'll tell you they want to send a code to your mail. After sending a code, they might say they want to send an OTP to your mobile number, just to ensure that it is the user that is actually accessing that particular service. So for example, um if a mobile banking app, has a weak API endpoint, attackers can extract your customer data without even touching your infrastructure. They can extract without even touching your infrastructure. So um the application security, the application layer is the closest point to an attacker. It is very very easy for attackers to actually test your weaknesses in the application layer. So it's very important that we have security over our applications. All right, so we have the cloud application threats and landscape. In today's cloud-based environment, there are two threat categories domain. We have our API risk, and we have our misconfigurations. Right, you can see it here on my screen. You know APIs helps us to connect our services together. So if you have a weak API, if you have a weak API security, your entire system is exposed, because it is API that connects all the services. So if what connects all the services together is not properly secured, your entire systems are exposed. For example, if you don't have any, if there are no authentication in place, it means that anybody can access sensitive data. Anybody, right? Or let's say there are no, excessive permissions. Anybody can do what it is that they want to do, even more than they want to do. Do you understand? Anybody can have access to information that they're supposed to have access to, that they are not supposed to have access to in the first place, right? So another um another example is mm, what example is that? Okay, another example is, our missing rate limits. Our APIs can be overloaded. They can be overloaded. So um attackers love APIs. They are in love with APIs. Why? Because just one weak endpoint from your APIs, just one weak endpoint from your APIs can expose millions of records. The API is what connects all of the services together. So just one weak endpoint. So you can see how important it is for you to secure your APIs. It is very very important that we secure our APIs, else they will exploit. Oh no, your attackers, they go to exploit data, right? So there's also the place of misconfigurations. For everything I've been saying since, you've been hearing misconfiguration. It tells you how important it is for you to have proper configurations in place and continue to review your configuration items. So most cloud breaches, they occur because of a simple misconfiguration. Just one single misconfiguration, it can lead to um exposure of your data, right? So most cloud breaches that happen these days, they happen due to simple configuration mistakes, right? So they do not happen because of maybe a not sophisticated hacking. It happens because we do not have proper or secure configurations in place. So which actually leads to exposure of our data. So um examples of our misconfiguration, maybe your storage bucket, instead of you to set it to private, you set it to public. That is wahala. Another example is, let's say you left your debug mode on. Hey Jesus, quick. Okay, so another thing is, let's say probably uh you have improperly defined IAM rules. I'm sure you understand what IAM actually is, identity and access management. So if you have improperly defined roles, people that are not supposed to have, let's say, there are certain confidential informations in the or documentations in the organization, right? And people who are not supposed to have access to it now have access to it. Hey, okay. So all of these things, they are, our they are things that actually pose threats to our cloud application. And this tells us how important it is for us to make sure that we protect these things, which are our APIs, our configurations. Also, we have the secure SDLC. So secure SDLC actually means, you know integrating our security throughout an entire software development lifecycle, ensuring security throughout an SDLC. SDLC is software development lifecycle. So ensuring that we have protection during the entire lifecycle of a software development. So it's not just at the end. It's not when you are done during all the phases of the software development lifecycle, ensuring that you have security. That is what the SDLC is, right? So there's something called secure design. So secure design, so at the architecture stage, right? The team this is where the team identifies, sensitive data, your trust boundaries, your possible attack paths. This is where decisions about, your encryption, your authentication, your API security. This is where all of those decisions are made. This your secure design stage. This is where all of those decisions are actually being made, right? So there's something we call the life cycle security. So as you're developing your software, like during the development uh, stages, right? Ensure that you apply your code scans, your dependency checks, your reviews, your testings, you know, having secure deployment practices and all that. Putting all of this in place will help you to have a secure software development life cycle. Please do not forget, securing your SDLC is not at the end, but it's right from the beginning, and putting all of these measures that I've spoken about, putting all of it in place, helps us to be able to protect our ensure security over the life cycle of our software, right? So there's also something we call threat modeling. So threat modeling is like a structured method, that we use for, identifying our potential threats before they actually become vulnerabilities. They are what we call threat modeling. So they is like is a method is a method that we use to identify things that can pose threats to us, or identify potential threats before they actually become vulnerabilities, before they become big things, identifying them ahead. Sorry. So, and one of the most common method of this identification is stride. What does stride stand for? You can see it here. S stands for spoofing, T stands for tampering, R stands for your repudiation, I stands for information disclosure, D stands for your DOS, denial of service, elevation, E stands for elevation of privilege. So this all of this helps us to identify what could go wrong. I don't know if you understand. It helps us to identify what can actually go wrong. So during your threat modeling, you map out a system, identify your users, know your data flows, also create authentication points. So when you're not done with all of this, you then ask, when you've put all of these things in place, you then ask, what can actually go wrong? That is the place of risk identification, right? Let's say, for example, you have like you have a login API, so threat modeling might, review risks like, your password brute force, or maybe input injection, or maybe your session hijacking. So identify all of these things early. It will help you to put the right controls in place. That is where risk actually comes in. So risk identification helps us to analyze data flows, your interfaces, your trust zone, just to ensure that you spot vulnerabilities early and put the appropriate measures or controls in place to, um, prevent that particular issue from happening. So is threat modeling is a proactive measure. Is a proactive measure. You're thinking ahead what can actually go wrong, thinking what could actually go wrong. I'm sure some of us understand what is called risk assessment. So risk assessment is thinking ahead, what can happen, what it is that can prevent us from achieving so thing. What are things that can prevent our security? What are things that could cause threat to let's say for example availability, right? you know so all of these things are what we call threat modeling. So and the stride uh has been put in place to actually be able to overcome or identify these threats early by spoofing, by tampering reputation, by limiting your information disclosure, doing a DOS, and also having elevation of privilege, right? So we then have, our DevSecOps and the CI/CD. All right. So DevSecOps actually, I'm sure we are not new to what CI/CD and DevSecOps is. So DevSecOps actually helps us to, integrate security into our continuous integration and delivery pipelines. So I've told us what DevSecOps and CI/CD. So basically, your CI/CD, they are continuous integration or continuous delivery. That's what CI/CD actually means. And then, the DevSecOps actually helps us to integrate the CI/CD pipelines, right? So for your um DevSecOps, right? For your DevSecOps, we have something we call automation. We have something we call automation and security testing. We have something we call automation and security testing. So the DevSecOps, these things they actually mean how we integrate our automated security checks into our development pipelines. Integrating, I'm telling you what DevSecOps and CID actually means. It like a simple definition of what it actually speaks to. Integrating our automated security checks into the development pipelines. Sorry, can you give me like a minute? Sorry, am I still sharing? Okay. All right, sorry. I've been unable to unmute myself since. Hopefully by 12 o'clock we are able to end this class. Honestly, I didn't think the time would be so short. So I'm just going to move as quick as possible. And like I said, um you will have access to this document, so you can always go over and you know read it on your during your own leisure time. So I'm sharing my screen. So we'll be talking about the DevOps CI and CD, and I've explained what it is actually speaking to, right? So I told you that both of them actually works to just ensure um automation. It helps us to ensure automation basically. So it integrates security into our continuous integration and continuous delivery of our pipeline. uh so there's automation and there's security testing. Um so security is basically automated so that it runs every time uh a developer pushes a new code. And also there is the security testing, which ensures that testing occurs continuously, not at the end of when you want to you know uh, develop a thing. So there's continuous testing during the phase of SDLC. There's continuous testing. So it just to ensure that um failure do not occur. So ensure that you test at every stages. All right. So there's also the place of securing our APIs, you know, and we securing our APIs. So like I've mentioned before, APIs are like they are like the backbone of our cloud applications. So securing those backbone, they are very very critical. They are very important. So that is why to ensure security of our APIs, that is why we say there's going to be something called authentication, and then there's going to be something called rate limiting, right? So for your APIs, you must confirm the identity of your users or services before you use secure methods such as your OA, O, OAuth, your tokens, your MTLS, because when you have weak authentication, easy entry points for your it creates easy entry points for attacks, right? Also there's a place of rate limiting for ensuring security of your API. So rate limiting actually just helps us to limit how many requests a user or a service can make per second. Why is this important? This is very important because it protects against brute force attacks. It helps us protect against scraping. It protects against denial of service attempts. Do you understand? Because if you do not put limit to it, for example your pin, your mobile banking pin, if you do not put limit to it, an attacker will try and try and try till they will actually get till they will get your actual pin. So putting rate limiting is very very important for our APIs, even your mobile apps precisely. You want to use an app, there's a mode that that's why you see you only have 3 attempts. If you use more than that 3 attempts, they will block your account, because they believe that since you are a user, you should be able to remember whatever your password is. And then so if you don't remember it, it means you are not the user. For you not to be able to remember it at least 3 times, you are not the user. So that's just it. Basically, when it comes to our API security, also we also have our microservices security. So in microservices architecture, basically our applications are broken down. They are broken into small independent services basically. So this helps us to increase flexibility. But the thing is, it also increases attack surface. It also increases attack surface. So for us to be able to secure our microservices, we then have to do things that we call service identity and trust boundaries. So what is service identity? Service identity is basically saying that each service must authenticate to others, right? And trust boundaries is just saying that services must not be allowed to communicate freely. Yes, so there must be like a communication path. It must You must have like a controlled communication path. That is what trust boundaries is saying, right? So you need to ensure that you prevent attackers from impersonating your services. So I'm running out of time, so I'm trying to rush. So we also have dependencies and libraries, right? So um you know all these are our modern applications, right? They rely heavily on third party libraries, right? They rely on frameworks, they rely on packages. So and this creates risk because our vulnerabilities, um our vulnerability dependency becomes uh when your this thing when your third party libraries, when they have the vulnerability in their dependencies, it becomes your own vulnerability in your application also, because you are you are relying heavily on them. You are relying heavily on them. So for example, you rely on the people who provide services for you, basically your third party. So the more you rely on them heavily, it also puts a threat to your own reliancy. If there's a vulnerability on your end also. So there's something we call SBOM, software bill of material, where you know it lists like all the components of an application. And doing this helps us to track our vulnerable dependencies. That is, what version are we currently running on, knowing whether it actually contains vulnerabilities or not. So there's something we also call vulnerability scanning. So this is where, you know sorry, there's something we call vulnerability scanning. And this is where, for example, or let's say, let me put it this way, tools tools scan libraries against, if a library is found to be vulnerable, right? Developers can patch or they can replace it. So, and this is very crucial because patches occur through all of these outdated components. So it's very important that we have updated components. There's also what we call serverless security, that is, running serverless computing codes. You run codes on serverless computing without managing the service. And this imposes a very unique risk to us, right? So, and there's something we call function risk, and putting IAM controls in place. What are function risks? Function risks are function so functions, they run with excessive permissions, and they can expose our sensitive data if they are not properly configured. So then and then we then put IAM controls in place. So these IAM controls, they help us to ensure that every function only have access to what it is that it needs. Yes, you only have access to what it is that it needs. So that's the purpose of the IAM controls. It helps us to restrict triggers. So also we have the application security testing. So we test our applications in three different ways, and these three different ways are what I've stated here: your SAST, your DAST, your pen tests also. So what is SAST? SAST, the full meaning is static application security testing. Then there's a DAST, where you have your dynamic application security testing, and then we have your pen test. So they all have their own functions, just to ensure that our applications are tested. So the SAST just help us to analyze our code. They don't run it. SAST is not running your code. They just help you to analyze the code. So it helps you identify like what coding level issues you that might be happening, like maybe sanitizing problems, right? So then there's your dynamic application security testing. So it helps you test all your running applications. So it helps you to also stimulate attacks like your SQL injection and your XSS. Do you understand? So there's also the pen test, also known as penetration test, and this is performed by ethical hackers, who try to exploit weaknesses. They try to see the weaknesses. So all of these three testings together, they give you full visibilities. So there's code level one that help you with code level issues, one helps you with your runtime issues, and the other helps you with your architectural issues. That is what the combination of the three of them actually is. And the summary, so you can go through this checklist. I've put a checklist for when it comes to application security. So I've put a takeaway for you, and I've said that you need to build security into your development life cycle. You need to ensure that your APIs are protected with strong authentication and rate limiting. Do not forget. Also, I mentioned that there needs to be controlled communication between your microservices. It is very important, and making use of your IAM is important also in the process of controlling communication between your microservices. Also, there's the place of tracking dependencies using your SBOMs and your vulnerability scans. I also mentioned, ensure that you apply least privilege to your serverless functions. Please make sure. Also, lastly, make sure that you test your applications continuously using your SEST, your DST, and your penetration testing. Do not forget. All right, quickly let's move to the last domain for today, which is our incident response. So I'll just give you an overview. So incident response in our cloud environment is just like an organized set of activities, that we use to they're like an organized set of activities that we use to run when something goes wrong, like when an issue goes wrong. So they're like a set of activities that have been put in place to ensure that uh, things are organized, right? So it can be a security breach, it can be a service outage, or you can be like a suspicious activity that happens. So your cloud incident response is actually very special because the environment is dynamic. So the job of this your cloud incident response is to ensure that you are able to detect incidents as quickly as possible, right? So that they do not have like a heavy impact, and also you can restore your services easily and safely, and also putting measures in place to ensure that we learn and we don't repeat the same mistakes again. That is basically what um, this cloud IR is basically saying. So what you need to remember is you need to you need your logs. You need to keep communication with your stakeholders. It's very important. Your communication with your stakeholders are very, very important. you know you need to keep your logs, also your telemetry. I've spoken about telemetry before, where you detect your usage, your data traffic, all of those things, and then use it to analyze and use it to ensure that um, issues do not occur again, right? So we also have like incident response life cycle, and I put three life cycle here. We have the preparation, the detection, and the containment, right? So the incident response life cycle is a simple and it is a repeatable flow, basically. So preparation is preparing us before an incident occur. Detecting is detecting them quickly when they occur, and then containment is helping us to limit the damage that it will cause. So after containment, that's when you then move to how you want to eradicate the incident, or recovery, or post incident improvement. But you see these three stages, these three life cycle, they are where we prevent escalation of incidents, right? So preparation helps us to build like playbooks and teams, while detection helps us to rely on telemetry and alerts. while containment, um, um, containment helps us to, apply temporary measures to stop the impact of um, the issue or the incident uh, when it happens. So I'm just going to explain this three life cycle in simple terms, right? So the first one is we have preparation for our cloud incident response. So how do you prepare for it? By defining roles and run books, right? So like I said, preparation is just like, you organizing people, um, putting processes in place, ensuring that you have the right tools on ground before anything goes wrong, right? So it's very necessary for us to define roles. Let's know, okay, who is the incident response lead, who is the technical responder, who is the communications lead, so that everyone will know their responsibilities, right? So it's very good for you to create something like what we call a run book, which is like a step by step um book that you use for your common incidents, right? So it's more like a log, is a log. So if you are well prepared, you'll be able to avoid putting the right tools in place, the right processes, the right teams in place will help you avoid confusion during incidents. You are not thinking, well, who is supposed to handle this, who is supposed to do this? No. But if everything has been clearly defined and identified, yes, you'll be able to confusion when an incident actually happens. Also, we have the place of detection and analysis. Sorry, we're almost done. I've told us what detection actually is, and detection also makes use of alert and telemetry. So detection is when an incident is first identified. So it can be via alerts here. Alerts are ways of detection of incidents, right? So telemetry telemetry then helps us to analyze, right? That okay, who did this, where did it come from, when did it happen? Do you understand? That is detection and analysis. So detection, you detect through alert. Telemetry then gives you like an insight on who is the person that did it, from where did this particular incident occur from, what time, when did it occur, at what time of the day, at what time of the month or did this particular thing occur. So all of these analysis are very essential, as it helps us to validate, and it helps us to like do analysis is very important. So it helps us to like conduct like a root cause analysis. It helps us to conduct a root cause analysis of an event, and also the impact of that particular event or incident, right? So make sure that you have high quality telemetry sources, right? So it's very important. So this is the place of your monitoring tools to help you with alerts. Yes, very important. And lastly, we have the containment strategies. So you can either do a short term or a long term. These are the phases of containment strategies, right? So you can either do a short term or a long term. So the short term will help you stop the harm immediately, while the long term, will help you to like prevent the reoccurrence of that particular event. So you will have like your evidences of the short one, so and then you use it to prevent future occurrences. So the short term one is about speed, like immediate resolution, while the long term is about your safety, is about prevention, is about durability. So these are the strategies that is used for containment. So I've mentioned before that after all of these stages, that is when you then go about how you want to eradicate or recover your services, or how you want to eradicate your threats from happening again. So eradication is more like you removing your malware, closing the vulnerability that has been exploited, you know uh cleaning your unauthorized accounts and all that, while recovery is just saying that we need to return to operations, we need to return to our operations in a controlled way, right? So this is the place of you having your backups in place, putting your BCP. I've spoken about it before. I spoke about your disaster recovery. Yes, this is recovery. So it is when you have your recovery or a backup plan in place, that is when you'll be able to fall back on it when an issue happens. So this is the next stage after your incident response life cycle. So then you go to your eradication and recovery. So there's also something we call post incident analysis. There's something we call post incident, that is after the incident has, you've provided resolution, you've closed the incident. You need to run like a post incident analysis, right? So uh um this is like an analysis that you use to capture the timeline of an incident, the root cause of that particular incident, what are the controls that failed that led to this incident, where you see where you analyze how effective your incident response was, right? So, and this helps us to, it helps us to provide, you know actionable improvement items, assign owners, learn from everything that happened in that organization. So it's just for continual improvement purposes. That is why we do post incident analysis, and we say that you should document your lessons learned. Document your lessons learned so that you prevent such thing from happening again, or whenever it happens again, right? So since you've documented all the processes that were involved right from the starting of the incident to the end, you'll be able to provide what do we call it, resolution. Yes, you'll be able to provide resolution when that incident happens again. All right, there's something we call resilience planning. For now, there's something we call resilience planning. What is resilience planning? We are almost done, I think. Yes, we are almost done. All right, so there's something we call resilience planning. That is your fault tolerance and your backups. So I've explained what resiliency is actually is. So it's a business requirement basically, because it will cost you your reputation if you don't have this resiliency measures in place. It will cost you your reputation. So you need to know your fault tolerance levels. You need to have backups in place. Also, it is very very important. It is very very important. Also, there's the place of communication and coordination. So there's something called your stakeholder communication. That is your communication and coordination. So let's say an incident happens here, it is necessary that you communicate the incident very early and clearly, and also at regular intervals. So first off, you need to know who your stakeholders are. Your stakeholders can be your executives, your legal, your affected customers, your regulatory bodies and all. So you communicate to all of these your stakeholders, right? And you need to communicate to them what happened. Tell them, okay, this is the step we are taking to resolve it. Let them know the impact that it caused. You reassure them. Also, you need to like provide a resolution time. Okay, this is the incident that happened between so and so date. Want to be able to like provide like a permanent resolution to this particular incident, right? So just make sure that you share a clear and concise information with your stakeholders. Clear communication is very important anywhere in the world. Clear communication, clarity is very 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 important, because good communication helps us to reduce rumors. And it also supports the decision making. It is when you communicate clearly, you'll be able to, okay, what do we do, how can we do it, okay, how do we resolve this. So clear communication is very very important to your stakeholders. Also, we have the legal and forensics, which is like your chain of custody basically. So for your chain of custody, you have your legal considerations and you have your forensics, right? So if an incident leads to like a legal action, of course we've seen examples where or we've seen situations in this Nigeria basically where incident has led to regulatory this thing. right? Where an incident occurs, maybe in an organization, and then the regulatory body sanctions that particular organization, right? So especially when they are able to handle it as carefully as they should. So if an incident happens, it can lead to like a legal action. It can also lead to your regulatory reporting, right? So forensics, they then require you to, like, when an incident happens, when they call the forensics to come, and so they are the ones that, take snapshots, a snapshot, sorry. They have like preserving logs, they make sure that you have the metadata, like the data has not been altered at all. So they are the ones that actually ensure to capture all the information that it is that needs to capture. They document every single action that happens. So they need to know who accessed the evidence, when, why, all of those questions, right? So that is the chain of custody. So you then involve your legal and privacy teams, to ensure that you have compliance. You don't want to have compliance issues with your regulatory bodies. Is, for example, when banks, for example, sorry, I've been using banks. So for example, a bank, there's something that they did and does not comply with the regulatory body, for example CBN. You know how big it is, the CBN file finds them for one particular error. So it's very important that, you know you um consider them. So or whenever an issue happens, make sure that they are involved also. Please make sure that your regulatory bodies are involved whenever an issue happens. Okay, I think we have one more. Yes. All right, so we also have automation in our incident response. So it's more like saying putting proactive tools in place, right? Manual management is not always easy and it's not always adequate. So it's very important that we have automation tools, and I've listed two tools here. We have playbooks and we have SOA. And SOA is an acronym for security, orchestration, automation, and response. So these tools basically, when you have automation, it helps you to speed your responses. It helps you to reduce human error. We are humans, mistakes can always happen, right? So SOA is a platform that can help you to um orchestrate automatical, you know uh automatical responses. So playbooks are also like step that we use for our common incidents. So so are tools that automatically execute our security actions, reduces response time, while playbooks are like automated workflows for cover incidents. So when you have, there's something we call major incidents, and so playbooks can run your normal incidents that happen and all that. So but when it comes to like your security operations and like incidents, your cyber attacks and all that, it is best that you use SOA instead of playbooks. But if you're referring to just normal incident management, don't worry, you can use playbooks. So in summary, I've put this checklist in place for us. We can always go back and look at it. So I've said, have the defined incident response roles and responsibilities. It is very, very important. Let us know who is doing what, who handles what, right? So also make sure that you have up to date logs of your incidents. Make sure you have your up to date run books, right? Ensure that you have active logging and telemetry, and you with your retention policies precisely. Also make sure that you have automated alerts. Ensure that you have the capability, make sure that you have enough capability on ground. Make sure that you continue to test your backups and your recovery plans. Do not forget. Ensure that you conduct um, 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 IR drills, basically. Ensure that you conduct regular IR drills and your improvements. Ensure that your Lego and communication playbooks are ready. Don't forget, when an incident happens, make sure you involve them, right? So if you have all of these things in place, then your team is in a good position. They are able to respond quickly and effectively whenever um whenever an issue happens, basically. So basically all we've spoken about today, um they are all it is that I wanted to speak to us about today. And this brings us to the end of the class. So, but I would like to say one or two things before we actually call it a close today, right? So, what I would tell us is, you know, cloud security is a journey, basically, right? It's a journey, it's an everyday process, it's a continuous process. It is not like a bus stop. It is a continuous process because things keeps on evolving every day. And these three domains that it is that I've spoken about today, which are your infrastructure, your application, and your incident response, right? They are like the foundation of that we use to build a resilient cloud environment. So please let always keep that in mind. So thank you everybody for listening. We have come to the end of today's class. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. It's been a wonderful time. I hope that we all enjoyed the class also. Um Priscilla, are you on the call? Can anybody just go to the chat room? Tell me what was your take home from today? What's your take home from today? Anybody? Let's go over that. Sorry, is anybody speaking? I cannot hear anything. No. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you, Lyle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody, just go to the chat box. Tell me what is it? What is your take home?
Sorry, I know I can hear you. You want me to
Okay.
mute everyone now? Or
What did you say?
you want me to unmute everyone now so they can speak with you? We have Samali raising up his hand. He has dropped his hand again. But let me unmute everyone so that they can speak.
Okay.
So we can unmute our mic if we want to speak. But please, let's do that in an orderly manner. Let's
Okay.
raise up our hands. Then the consultants will call us up to speak.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes,
Yes, so
Agbaji, we can hear you.
Actually, this is it's a long
I
class,
can
and
hear
then
you.
so I'm with you.
Sorry.
Thank you very much for actually thank you very much for this class. I must congratulate the speaker. She has done
Thank you.
well because it is voluminous, and then we have learned a lot. So I have some
Thank you.
observation and some questions I would like to ask, if I'm given the permission to do that.
Okay.
So the first one, uh, when you are discussing about the hybrid connectivity, you
Yeah.
said that under the risk, we should not have redundancy. So I was a little bit confused when you go to that slide
You
where
should
you
not have
mentioned
what?
about we should not have redundancy when you are making when you are discussing or you are explaining the concept under the risk that's under hybrid cloud connectivity.
Okay,
So
let
I
me
was
see.
a bit confused. So because I know redundancy is like it's a
Please,
backup.
the other person should mute their mic so that I can hear him.
So I thought redundancy is just another way. In case one system fails, then the other one would automatically take.
Okay, so what I said about hybrid connectivity, hybrid cloud connectivity. So I said that one of the two ways for hybrid cloud connectivity is through our VPNs and our private links, right? So I said the risk that is involved is if you have lack of redundancy, lack of redundancy. That is, you have like or plans in place, or you don't have like clearly defined RTOs and RPOs, right? They can lead to your VPN or your private links being exposed, basically. So when I talk about redundancy, I'm saying if you have lack of redundancy, if you have lack of adequate backup in place, right? Your BCP, you don't have an adequate BCP in place, or you don't have like a well-defined incident response plan or process in place. It can cause you to expose all of these things, and your VPNs and your private links, they are very vulnerable. Once a person has just one little leakage, they can have access to millions of data. Do you understand? So I hope I'm able to answer your question. Hello. Hello, have I been able to answer your question? Can we take the next person? Okay, there's a question that I saw here on the group by Cyrus Mugo. Cyrus Mugo, I want to answer your question. You said in relation to telemetry, can someone use Splunk on cloud security? All right, so I would say that Splunk is a very, very powerful platform, right? You know, and we use it for our storing, our analyzing and all of that. So, and telemetry actually talks about, us automate our collecting of data, all of doing analysis and all. So Splunk, I would say that Splunk is very, very good for telemetry, because uh, using Splunk for telemetry will help you to like have like a centralized data collection precisely, right? So you can also do like it will also help you to have like a real-time search. You can do real-time search or for telemetry using Splunk, and for it, you can also use it for alert and monitoring also. So I would say that Splunk is a very, very good. Also, you can do dashboard reports using Splunk. So I recommend that Splunk is very good for telemetry when it comes to cloud security. All right. We are leaving here by 12:30, so I'm trying to rush over. And just like I said, I'm going to send this document so that we can all have access to it, please. I don't know if I should send it on the group. Priscilla, can you confirm? Priscilla, are you there? Am I the only? Is it that anybody cannot hear me?
No, you are
I can
I'm
audible.
the
I
hear
only
can
one.
hear you.
Okay, sorry about that, please. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so for the slides, we would be the one to share it with them. So you'll be sharing it with Mr. Yola, so you would communicate that to them.
All right, no problem. Somebody mentioned on the group that they don't really understand what telemetry is actually about. All right, so I will tell you again. I will say it as simple as I can. So telemetry is, or what I said last about collection of data, right? An automated or automatic collection of data. So telemetry is like a tool that we use for collection of data. Let's say we use it to analyze trends. We use it to collect data and you know how do I put it? We just use it basically to understand, you know, performance, know, okay, why this happened, what was the cause of this thing, when did it happen. So it's more like collecting data of, for example, incident happening now, collecting data on, okay, when did this particular incident happen, how did it happen, like just like an automated. So it's very good for you to have to use telemetry, because it's an automated way of collecting data, which helps you to automatically see whatever happens for regarding an incident, right? You see all the things that happen regarding that incident, who caused the incident, why the incident happened, when the incident happened, and all of those things. right? So telemetry helps us to ensure security. It helps us to ensure security. So it gives you like um you can use telemetry actually. So you can have defined metrics, you can have your logs, you can do events. That is when you use tools to do your event management. So this is telemetry is actually very, very important. It's very important because it helps us to detect issues. It helps us to understand what regarding, let's say, an incident happens. It gives us like knowledge about what happened regarding an incident, why the incident happened, when the incident happens, right? So, and one thing about telemetry is you how do I put it? Okay, so one thing about telemetry is you can use telemetry to debug failures very easily, like as quickly as possible, right? So with telemetry you can also find bottlenecks because you are doing analysis. So when you do analysis you can find where you have bottlenecks, right? So you can find out, okay, it's because this particular service was inefficient, that is why this particular incident actually happened, and all of that, right? So it's more like a analysis based to collect data. It is used for data collection, like an automatic way of collecting data. Also, we use it for security, which is the basic reason why we are doing what we are doing today. We are talking about securing of our applications, our clouds, and all of that. So it's basically used for we use it to identify, let's say, a suspicious let's say a suspicious to
The sun is out.
you
Yeah.
know
Mind for
we
that.
use it for anomalies and all that. Hello, is somebody speaking? All right, so basically this is what telemetry is used for. For the person that asked about telemetry, I hope that I have been able to answer your question. All right, so this is 12:30 already. I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you all so much for your time. Thank you so much for your time. You said aside Splunk, do we have other platforms to collect data? Of course, there are various other platforms. You can scout the internet, and you find out various other platforms that we use for um, collecting data. There are a whole lot of platforms on the internet, right? So once again, thank you all so much. Priscilla, you can take over from here. Thank you, Abasedi. Priscilla, you on the call? Hello, Priscilla. Is Priscilla on the call? If you're on the call,
Sorry,
please
my
speak.
my I keep
Yes,
unmuting
take over.
myself. I keep muting myself rather, so I have to like unmute myself again. Thank you so much, Anu, for everybody. Can we say thank you to our consultants for a class
Thank
well done
you.
today?
Thank you. Thank you,
We
ma'am.
are very grateful for the gift of you. We've been able to learn a whole lot. Let me just give us like an insight. She just gave us a whole consultation service that they will pay her for, or that they will usually pay us for. So this is a whole consultation class that you guys got, and she went in depth. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us today. And I believe, okay, so we have someone that's been I don't know, Papis, I don't know if you are still on the call. Is she still on the call? Let me check. Please, are you still on the call with us? Anu? I think she's not, okay, she's here. I'm trying to unmute you, but okay. Can you speak now?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. We have someone that's been raising up his hand since. That's Mike. So Mike, you can go ahead
Oh,
to
okay.
unmute yourself and then speak. We'll give you a
Okay.
few minutes to do so. So please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, thank you. I know you've been so wonderful, and you've done justice to this lesson. My question quickly is,
Thank you.
yeah, in implementing SDN that you mentioned, can we do an hybrid? You have the software defined and you have hardware in controlling your processes. That's one. Number two, which one is safer? Is it the SDN that is safer, or when you use your hardware, to control your processes that is safer? Thank you.
All right. So if I got your questions correctly, you said is it safe to use SDN? Is that what you said?
Yes, is it better to use a SDN, compared to
For what?
using hardware? Yes, hardware.
All right. So, like I said, it's actually better because it is more flexible, right? It is very, very flexible. You can do a whole lot of things using SDN. But then, what we are saying is, in as much as this thing is very flexible and it is easy to use, it is fast, it is reliable, and all that, there are also risks that are tied to it. And when you're using this particular service, make sure that you put this risk into consideration. That is what we are saying. SDN is actually very, very good, right? So the only risk that we have there is, if a person compromises the SDN, they can have control to the entire network. If a person can have access to your SDN, so they can have like entire access to, they can have the remote, they will do the controller general. Do you understand? So
Sure.
if you're using SDN, make sure that you put your identity and access management. It is very, very important, right? Also your MFAs, your multi-factor authentication, make sure that they're also in place. And your login, make sure that you don't overlook them. Those are ways to actually have um or to ensure security when you use the SDN. SDN is very unique. In fact, I recommend you using SDN, right? But then make sure that you identify this risk. Make sure that you actually treat this risk when you are saying you want to use SDN. All right. So did I answer your
Okay.
question? What was the other
Yes.
question?
Yeah. Okay. Which one is safer when it comes to implementation? Is it the software?
When it comes to implementation,
Sorry.
I didn't hear you. You said when it comes to implementation.
Yes, when it comes to implementation. Okay. I'm saying this, because let me just go to the point. Sometimes I implement IP PBS, solutions, and sometimes we use Asterix and open source and software based, and sometimes we implement. A client will tell us, okay, we need a box, a hardware, like maybe a grand stream phone, or maybe a Cisco system, as it were. Because why? The Asterix is software based; it does all the switching. Okay, but it's in a way it's software driven. All right. So if somebody have access to
Okay.
that particular software, it can actually alter the codes, and the system will begin to malfunction, redirect extensions to different locations, which was not planned. But with the hardware, like your ground stream box or maybe your Cisco box, you can't do that easily. That's why I'm asking on this question, please.
All right. So also, I would say that this boils down to the place of, you know how vulnerable a particular tool or service or process can be if it is not adequately
Sure.
secured. Yeah. So this is the place of you making sure that you put adequate security measures in place for that particular process, because what it is can happen once a person is able to have access to that particular thing, and you do not want that to
Yeah.
happen. So it's now left for you to put in adequate security measures in place to ensure that you safeguard this particular service or tool, so that people don't have unauthorized access. So that is why we have put all of these security measures in place. We've talked about rate limiting. We've talked about access controls. We've talked about authentication. We've
Identity
talked about
management.
yeah, we talk about identity and access management, right? So for a control like that, I will even say that identity and access management is very important. Rate limiting is very important. Authentication is very important for that kind of process, right? Because you need to put all the security measures that you can in place to ensure that people people, or to ensure that you prevent unauthorized access to it because of how vulnerable it can be. So I hope that I answered your question. It's very good to
It's
switch
okay.
to the cloud.
Yeah.
It's very, very sweet to have cloud services. But then, in as much as you're doing all of that, make sure that you're putting the right security measures in place so that it do not affect you at the later on. Right. I hope that I've answered your question.
Thank you so much. I appreciate.
You're welcome, Mike. Priscilla, are you there? Priscilla, can you hear me? Are you here?
Yes, I am here. Thank you so much, Anu. Thank you so much. I
Okay.
think we need to release her now so that she can go and have her own rest. She has been busy all through this week. So thank you so much for being
Thank
on the call
you.
with us. God bless you so much. If you have any other questions that we want to direct towards the consultant, please drop them on the general group chat, the WhatsApp group chat. Um, she's on the group. I think she's on the group chat, so she would see it and then she will respond to you if she gets your question. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for honoring our
Thank
invitation
you.
to come and
Thank
join
you,
us.
everyone.
I'm seeing some
Thank you,
of us
Priscilla.
that are asking for attendance. Are we novice here? Is this our first time joining the call? We've already stated that attendance would not be sent until practical session, towards the end of practical session. Sorry, I will come inside, I'll come and say attendance, attendance. Well done. We can see you. But we are not novice. That's how you will know who is novice. Because they are always saying that where's the attendance link? Where's the attendance link? Don't come and disrupt our classroom. So without further ado, right, we are supposed to go for our break, but during the break session, we've already used to ask questions, and I think during the time when we were asking questions and she was answering us, we've gotten to relax properly. So I'll just call on board our second consultant who will be taking us with the practical section. So by 2 p.m. Nigerian time, we should be done with everything. So his name is he has two names. He has his Francis and his Jeffrey. So I don't even know which one I should call him. But Francis is a consultant in our Ghana branch, PSC Ghana branch, and he will be taking us today for the practical session. And all that he will be doing for us today is actually a heavy loaded person. So let's get ready to learn a whole lot from him. He's a fully loaded person. He's an ISMS consultant, he's an SMS consultant, he's a BCMS consultant, everything joined together. He's now a cyber security expert too. So let's get ready to learn from him today, and he will be showing us a demo session on the Azure platform, which we have been looking at since the commencement of this training session this month. And I believe he has a whole lot to learn. He has a whole lot to teach us today. So please get your gadgets ready so that you can be able to, follow as he's demonstrating to us, so we can also be able to follow through and then learn a whole lot. So if you have any questions, so I'm going to leave everybody's mic. I will allow everybody to be able to unmute the mic. But please, when you have a question for him, because I know this is practical class and it has to be as interactive as possible. If you have a question from him, kindly ensure that you raise up your hand, or you just don't do it in a destructive manner. Let's raise up our hands, then you will see it, then you would call us to speak up. Or I call his attention to it that somebody's hand is being raised up. So, Francis, are you on the call? you can please go ahead and
Yes,
start
I
teaching
am.
us.
Hello, good morning and afternoon, wherever you are joining the call from. My name is Francis Obian Samoa, as you've already been introduced. Um, so, the first session was an insightful class. I hope you all took something out of it, because basically what we learned from that class is what we are going to, see in a practical session or the demo session that we're about to have. All right. So without wasting much time, this class is going to be a very quick and simple one. So without wasting much time, I'll be happy if we all log on into our Azure platform. I'll be sharing my screen as well. From the previous classes, we've learned how to create an Azure account. We've done several demo sessions on the Azure platform. So I believe we are all conversant with the Azure platform by now. So, all right, thank you, Madam Priscilla. I'll continue from here. All right. So I'll be sharing my screen. What we are going to do today is called, we are going to have a demo session on the Azure platform called the Defender for Cloud. So we are going to see, the topic is about vulnerability detection and security recommendations. So it's mainly about what we learned today, or check vulnerabilities, make sure we are meeting security standards, and then being protected away from all sorts of attacks on the Azure platforms. So let me share my screen. Are you all see my screen, please?
Yes, I can see it.
All right. Trying to get rid of this. So that's
Yes, sir, we can see.
okay.
Yes, we can see.
All right, thank you. What we'll be learning today is an incorporation of what we've been learning in the previous classes. So, from the previous classes, we've learned how to, assign roles, create, add users onto our Azure platforms, assign roles, how to protect, multiple factor authentication and all that. So it's basically a continuation from what we've learned in the previous weeks. So what we'll be learning is what we call a Microsoft Defender for Cloud. It's already in my tab here, but for somebody who is new to this, you can just search it up on the search button here, and then or Defender for Cloud, and then you have it there. So you just click on it and enter the platform. So now I'll be showing you how the Microsoft Defender for Cloud helps us to find and fix security risks in our cloud environment. So you can think of it like a security guard for your Azure systems. It just continuously checks for weak spots and tells you how exactly you should fix them before the attackers find them. So the first thing we'll be doing is, the first part is the vulnerability detection. So what the Defender for Cloud usually does is it automatically scans your system for all vulnerabilities. It's not waiting for you to initiate or tap on a link before it starts scanning for all the vulnerabilities in your system. So it looks for things like missing patches, old software versions, or weak configurations. So we can go to, this is the overview of the system, how the system looks like. It tells you the number of subscriptions that you're on. We are on the I believe most of us are still on the free subscription. That gives you around $200 or worth of usage. And then yes, I may not have a lot of things running on my system, so we'll be we'll be learning this based on what I have running on my system currently, because I'm also on the free subscription as well. This is an overview of what my system looks like. I don't have any critical incidents or attacks in my system. So we'll look at how to find the issues that the vulnerabilities that the system has already scanned or has already identified for us in our system. But first, you have to know how many systems. Usually, you have to know your inventory, how many resources are running on your system. So you can click on inventory. And then on my system, I have a few things running. I created a virtual machine. I created an AI foundry, which is the AI services that the Azure platform offers. I think somebody's mic is not muted. Can you please mute your mic for me, please? All right, thank you. Even protects your subscription, just so you know. It protects your subscription to ensure that, nobody else is using your subscription aside you. I mean, it scans everything. It scans everything. So this is like an inventory of everything running in my system. My resources and the resource type, the scope, which is, if you look here, there's Azure 6, there's AWS, and then there's Google Cloud Platform. So the Azure platform allows you to incorporate all the other cloud platforms that you have on your system. So maybe you are running other cloud or activities on other platforms like the AWS or the GCP. You can incorporate them here. That is what Microsoft has included in their new system that allows you to incorporate all your cloud systems from different platforms. So I do not have any activities running on any other cloud platform, but it allows you to incorporate them here. So it tells you the recommendations. This is like the risk level of your resources. So it can be higher risk, medium, or low. So the colors show, definitely, we all know that the color red means danger. So yeah, this is the highest level of risk. And then there's a medium, and then there's a low. So this is an inventory of what I have running on my system. So we can then go ahead and look at first of all, this helps us to see what's weak and where we should focus our attention on. So as you can see, we can see that these parts of my resources are extremely red. That means we can focus our attention on these particular ones as we go on. So let's look at another feature of the Defender for Cloud, which is the recommendation. So let's click on recommendations. So Defender doesn't just tell you what's wrong with your system. It actually gives you a step-by-step recommendations to fix each issue. So here, for example, it has given us, this is a recommendation. So these are my resources. As you saw in my inventory side, these are the affected resources. That is the AI service that I've created. The virtual network or the virtual machine that I have created. It is telling us, giving us a few other information about it, which I'll get into it when we get there. I think somebody else's mic is off. Yeah. All right. So, for example, this particular recommendation is telling us that my Azure AI services resource should have a key access disabled. Should have its key access disabled. And that because of that, it is telling me I have a higher exposure to the internet. It has given me a recommendation. And it also goes ahead to give me how to solve this problem. So by clicking on it, it will open the problem up for me. So this gives you a brief description about what the problem is. So Azure AI service resource should have a key access disabled. So this tells you the description, what the key access is all about and why this problem has arisen. It tells you which subscription that you are on, when was the last time you updated or made any changes to the resource. The freshness tells you how, I mean, when was the last time it's refreshed, the vulnerability assessment was done on a system. So in the last 30 minutes, the system has already checked again to see the problem, whether it is still there or not. And these are the risk factors regarding this particular vulnerability. You understand? So we can go as far as even assign, and this is where the previous classes come in. We can even assign who should tackle this problem for us. You understand? Because you are in the previous classes, we created users and then give them roles and assigned roles to them. So if you have people on your organization,
How's the business? Hold on.
if you have people in your organization that you have, you are working on a project, everybody has been assigned to their specific role. When these problems arise, as the administrator to this account, I can assign rules or I can assign an owner to this particular vulnerability. So this is how to tackle these on this lane of the platform tells you how to tackle this problem or this vulnerability. So we have some ways to remediate these problems. These are the quick fix. So this is by a single tap. By a single tap, you can fix this issue. And it says here that after the process completes, it may take up to 30 minutes until your resources move to the healthy resources tab. You understand? There are so many ways you can. It gives you a manual remediation process, how to do it manually, how to go into the system to do it manually. And this is where I was talking about, to assign an owner and set a due date when the person should remediate this issue. You can also say that, oh, this issue is not a problem for me. I can exempt it from the entire recommendation or disable it from specific findings using the disable rules. You understand? And then you can also use certain apps, third-party apps to make sure that these problems or apps to solve or to automate this recommend this vulnerability for us so that it can solve it for us without coming to it. And then we have prevention methods. So enforce remediation for future resources or deny creation of misconfigured resources. So let's test this owner. I'm just going to go take you through how to do it. I don't necessarily have any body on my system that I can assign a role to, but let's just go through it, how we can do that. So let's say we want to assign an owner to this problem. So from the previous classes, I don't know, was it 2 weeks ago, one of my bosses was on the call, and Boss Femi, and then he took some of you through how to assign role. He even made one of you assign him, create an account and assign him roles on the Azure platform. I don't know if you all remember. And then from that lesson, you can assign it by entering the person's user's account name or group name. So if Boss Femi was on I could just type his name and then it would assign him here. You understand? I don't have him on my but yeah. So I don't have because I don't have any assigned person on my system. It's just going to tell me I need to provide a valid address. So if he was on my system, it would have shown. You can also tell the person when this problem should be done, should be solved. So you can assign a date when this problem should be resolved, and even apply a grace period, by the way. So it can give you notifications or weekly notifications as to when the issue has not been resolved yet. You can tell you, oh, you can assign it every Monday. An email should be sent to the person to remind the person to configure this problem or to remediate this issue or not. So basically, when I just do that, I'll just click on the create, and then it will assign the the role or assign a owner to the particular vulnerability and the recommendation that the Azure platform has given us. So let's just click on the fix to remediate. So it will automatically remediate the issue for us. And then that is it. It will take about 30 minutes for the system to actually move from the vulnerability, the recommendation tab to the healthy resource tab. So if I had assigned a user to an owner to this vulnerability or to this recommendation, would have shown us the user that I have assigned it to. So we can also talk about manual remediation. So let's say, for example, it also gives you a step-by-step way of as going about this issue. So for instance, to manually solve this issue, you can it tells you to open your Azure platform. So you can open a new tab. If you are following me, you can open a new tab. I have a new tab already open, and it's telling me to go to my AI, any of my AI services that I have available. I do not have any AI, so I can go to all my resources. I do not have an AI search resource, but I have a resource for AI, Azure Foundry. So it is available here. So I just click on it. This is a manual way of doing it instead of just doing the quick fix. And then let's go back. What does it tell us to do? Tell us to go to the settings. So this is the security side of the Azure. So we click on it. And it will tell us to go to what? That means that you see, so threat protection for this AI services is what? It's currently off. So it is not protecting us from any threats. You understand? Even though there are no critical conditions, the risk level is low at the moment. It's not too high. Just one medium. There's no critical, just one high and just zero critical conditions. It's still telling us that because this can affect us in the future. So we can just go to settings and then turn this off. It requires me to be on a paid subscription. That's some downside about these these services. Some of them you need to be on a premium subscription. So let's manage our subscriptions and see if I can have access to it on the free subscription. It is loading. All right, so these are some of the services that we have, and these are some of the things that you would need to pay before. So let's look at AI services that we talked about. So this is turned off. Let's turn it on. Some of them have been turned off. Some of them you need to pay. So I think we can ignore this since we are using the pay subscription. And then yes, so most of these, so all you have to do is save the settings. And then let's see if we can go back to, hold on. Let's see if we can refresh and see if we can turn it on. Still not allowing us to turn it on. I don't know, let me refresh the page and see. Okay, so now it has turned on. So threat protection for AI services is now, the status now is what? It's now on. And this was, I went through what's the manual way of what? Of dealing with this issue. All right. I hope you all got it. I hope everybody understood what I just showed you. So let's go back to the Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Let's see if some of these things have been moved to, okay, I think it might take a while before these will be resolved. Yeah. Some of them too is because they are not, I mean, it's just something I've created for the purpose of this class. So there's nothing really running at the background. So if it was critical, maybe that would have risen up major issues for us. But high is reasonable. You understand? So the next aspect of this Defender for Cloud that we can talk about is what we call the attack path analysis. The attack path analysis. So this is a really smart feature. So this one, it looks at how attackers could move through your system step by step. You understand? So it finds a way to, I mean, let's say it's thinking ahead of the attackers. It is being proactive, making sure that before the attackers even think of doing this and that, it has already thought about it and then giving you step by step ways to mitigate those risks.
Sorry.
Hello, is somebody asking a question? So this is like it tells you how it works. So it's Defender for Cloud collects data about your environment from various sources. That is from the resource, from your internet exposure configurations, from your permissions that you've granted, the network traffic and more, and continuously scans it for potential paths that attackers could use to breach your environment. So this part of the services is strictly a part that is for paid Defender plan. So you need to be on a paid Defender plan. So currently I do not have any, like I said, I don't have anything anything serious running on my system. So this was basically for the purpose of the class. I do not have any database stored on this on my platform. I do not have any applications running on my platform. So it will just send us to go to the recommendation part because I do not have anything running here. But I have some screenshots that I will share I'll also project and show you how it looks like on a paid subscription or somebody who has several stuff running on your system, how it looks like. I'll have I'll project it. I'll share my screen and show you after this presentation, after this demo class. One of this services from Microsoft Azure is one of the easiest or one of the most seamless services that they provide. It's easy to attend to, easy to use. It gives you everything. It explains everything to you. Even if you are having difficulty, you can just ask. There are several services that it provides for you to also ask for problems. There's a community available for you that provides help for all the services that they provide on this platform. So for now, we're saying no attacks, no attack paths found on my system. Like I said, I don't have anything running. That is why it is saying that. Security alert from my previous from the previous class that you just had. My colleague was talking about how you can have security alerts. So this part tells you about when somebody's trying to find a way into your system. It gives you several alerts to let you know the status of it, the severity of the alerts, the alert's name, what kind of resources, the parts, the resources or the particular place that the intruders are trying to access, the affected resources and the resource group that they may be trying to attack. So this is what the alert side is for. So let's look at the last part of this services of this part of the service, which is the Cloud Security Explorer. So this part of the services is like a search engine for your cloud security risk. So you can ask questions like, which servers are exposed to the internet? Who has too many permissions on my services? Where are the high risk vulnerabilities on my system? So it's like a search engine in your service. It works by collecting all your cloud data and mapping it like a network graph. So you can use query builders to search for specific risk. So that one, there's no coding needed. So these are queries, these are what the system has provided for you, queries that you can also do that by what? These are the search. You can use the search method. So if I have maybe the popular ones are here, the virtual machines. My colleague talked about Kubernetes clusters. You can have storage mediums in your system, your containers network. So let's see. So I clicked on virtual machines. I want to know what particular issue I'm looking for in a virtual machine. So we can look at which side of my virtual machines are exposed to the internet. This is a search. We can even go ahead to ask more. Click on the plus. Either from the ports and then and wherever it is. Okay, let me click on ports and what type of ports that is being affected. Well, let's just stick to this. So let's say I search for it. I may not have any issue, no result. Yeah, like I said, no results may be found. However, because I do not have a lot of things running on my system, like I said. But this is how it is done. If you want to find out issues, search this particular, look for the particular issues pertaining your cloud security risks. So you can do so by searching for them. You are now going to look for the particular problems in your system by yourself. So let's clear this. But these are the queries that the system automates for us. So let's say internet exposed in my VMs. Look, it's just the same thing I just did. By clicking on it, it has created the same thing for me here. You understand? If I search, I would still not find any issues. No results may be found. Yes. But that is basically the same thing. Let's try another one. We come in. Let's try any of them. Okay, so I have some AI services running. So let's use the AI instead. Let's look for this query. So it has asked all the AI models what is contained in, what it runs on, and what is contained in. So the endpoints and everything. So let's search and see if we find anything. Okay, still no results here. I want to look for something that I'll find a result, find something. Okay, VMs vulnerable to specific vulnerability. Let's look for this and see if we find anything. Okay, nothing here either. I do not have any. Okay. Hope you are following. I want to see if I have nothing. Let's just leave it as that. But this is basically how it's done. Here is, like I said, is you going to look for the problems yourself. So and these are the queries that the system, the pre-built templates that the Microsoft Azure system has provided for us to ask. Usually the things that people usually go and ask or go and find out. So this is what the system provides for us. Like I said, this is also another aspect of the service that you need to be on a paid plan to access or to use effectively. And I think that will be it. It's a simple thing. The Microsoft Defender for Cloud is quite a simple thing. If anybody has any input or question, I'll appreciate it if you can ask me. My previous consultant or colleague took majority of your time, so I didn't want to waste too much time on this particular aspect of the class. Is there any input or any question that basically we've gone through almost every part of it. This is the community side, like I said, where you can have people post blogs, videos that you can ask. They provide webinars on how to understand this particular Defender for Cloud, learnings and other aspects of it that you can go and learn issues. And these things are, like my previous colleague said, it needs to be a continuous thing. You can't just do it one time. Like I said, security, whoever is behind trying to log on onto your system or have access onto your system, it's not resting. It's a continuous thing. They are attacking every day. So you need to go back every time to, make sure that you are free from all sorts of attack. Make sure that you are checking everything constantly to make sure that you are free from all sorts of risk on your Azure platform or any cloud systems that you may have. All right. Is there any question or any issue, concern that you would want to, before I even share some of the screenshot that I said I'll share concerning the attack path analysis? Is there any question or issues? If you did not get anything, if I was moving too fast and any of you were not able to practice what I was showing or follow up,
Actually,
know.
sir, hello.
Yeah.
My name is Abdullah Samad Bukar as usual, but actually the session is educative and easy going. The only thing, there are some platform that we just missed, but everything is normal. Maybe we revisit the recordings. But I don't know
Yes.
if you can just in summary,
Okay.
those recommendations. Okay, from my own perspective, the recommendation is just like some security guide that as a security specialist, this is just a guide that will guide you on how to tackle some security threat. I don't know. So just in
So,
summary.
all right, let me explain that to you quickly. So
Thank you very much.
so you may have certain resources running on your system. You may have virtual machines running on your system. You may have some databases, SQLs that you've connected to your system. You may have even some softwares or applications that you're running on your that are connected to your cloud system. So the system already scans. That's why I talked about the inventory side of the system first. It already knows everything that you are running on your system. It figures everything out. It knows and it has an inventory of everything running on your system. So it tells you after figuring out or having an inventory of everything running on your system, it automatically runs a scan on everything that you have on your system. You understand? It automatically runs the scan on everything that you have on your system, and it gives you recommendations on how to mitigate some of the risk that has arose after scanning. You understand? After scanning, it will figure out every issue, every problem that you may have with some of the system security-wise in everything that it has found regarding your systems or your resources that you're running on your system.
Okay,
and
sir.
gives you how to mitigate those risks or security incidents or security attacks or any sort of vulnerabilities that arose in the scan.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yes.
That's good.
So like I said, so you don't need to do them. Some of them you don't need to do them manually. It automatically scans and figures out all the problems. You understand?
Okay.
So the recommendation part is, okay, after figuring out all the problems, this side is the affected. This is from if you are looking at my mouse pointer, this is the AI service that I have on my system. It is the affected resource. So it is telling me that it has a high risk level, that the Azure AI resource that I have created should have a key access, should have its key access disabled. You understand?
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I'm
So
with you.
it tells you everything, and then you can, from my previous explanation, you can assign somebody to tackle this problem. If it has an attack path, it will tell you which side of it, how many attack paths that it has been developed that has seen. This currently is 0 here. You understand?
Okay.
Yes. So I hope you understand the explanation. Or
Yes, I got you, sir. Yeah.
just asked.
Thank you very much for this
Okay, somebody
wonderful.
else has raised their hand. Dorothy, you can go ahead and ask your question, please.
Okay, please. With the attack party you were talking about, is it the hackers trying to access it, or like how will
Yes.
you?
Yes. So attack path analysis is like the system is, trying to figure out the ways in which the attacker will try to access your system. So it has already figured it out already, telling you, okay, so these are because of how your system is, you have created your resources. This part is weak and it is vulnerable to be attacked by an external person or somebody, an attacker. You understand? Do you get the explanation?
The okay. Let
The
me
use
ask for that question. Maybe to bring
Okay.
clarity to me, because it that AI, this thing you said, they said it was high. That means it's prone to an attack, right?
Yes, exactly.
So the attack part that they've said there is something is prone to attack, that means that there are a lot of paths to access to get you attacked. Does it mean that
Yes.
that path has not been identified by someone yet, or
Yes.
how? Yeah, okay.
Yes,
If
it
it is
means it
that,
has not
then
been identified by someone yet. There's a
okay,
possibility that if someone comes snooping around or come looking, this is how the person can go through this channel, or the person can go
okay,
through this channel.
all
So
right.
yes, do you understand this? The answer.
Yeah, I get it now.
All right. Any more questions? Any more inputs?
Okay, so it means all of this that you are doing, starting from the inventory, the cloud security explorer, everything is automated once you click on it.
Yes, basically, it's not all of them are automated, but there are several ways to automatic ways to solve the issue, and there's a manual way. But either way, that system would also teach you or show you how to go about it as well.
Okay. So I think
All right.
preferably maybe you can get the
Mhm.
inventory part, and then the attack part should always be automated to
Yeah, you need to
avoid
also always go back
conflict
to
of.
your inventory and see which ones. I mean, the inventory just tells you the resources running on your system.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The
And like I
system,
said, you can
everything
connect
that's
more than one resource environment to your system. You can connect the AWS, the Google Cloud Platform, each one of them to your
okay.
system.
Okay. But presently we're now on Azure and all that. I understand.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Yes. All right. Mike, I think Mike has a question. You can go ahead, Mike.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. On the attack part, I saw 0000. If you
Yes.
can quickly,
That's Yes,
so
so I said because of the purpose of this class, I don't have anything running on my system, but I'll share some screenshots from several people who have things running on your system. I took a couple of screenshots from other attack paths on the internet or on out there that I will be showing to you. I'll project that one as well. I'll share that one as well, and let you see how it looks like. It's almost identical to the recommendation. It should also look like the recommendation lane here that way. So it will also have the same thing here where it will tell you the risk level, the title, or whatever the issue is. It will tell you the affected area just like this. So it's basically the same thing. But I do not have any issue, any serious resource running that should tell me I have this problem or I have that problem. That is why there's nothing here for you to see. But like I said, I'll share some screenshots with you when I'm done
So
with this platform.
okay, so which means once the attack, once there's an attack, which means it will change the possibility of it changing from 0 to 1 to 2, like 3, maybe 4, 5.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Like I
there.
said, when you resolve an issue, it moves from the
From 0.
the risk level to resolution page to where it has been resolved. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Does anybody else? I think there were more than one. Aside Mike, there was someone else's hand raised.
Yes, please, myself.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay, I saw unhealthy resource, which was 4 from your side. Is it the combination of the high and the medium that brought
Yes.
about that
The combination of the high and the medium.
okay.
Yes, where was it?
Risks?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Anyone else? Before I
Thank you
share.
very much. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, sir.
I can hear you.
Thank you for the knowledge being given out. Please, sir, I understand everything. I want to ask this question: that is there any probability that if there is any attack, probably the system will slow to give out the response, or there won't be any response from the software Microsoft Defender?
Oh no, it will always provide, I mean, a resolution or a way to, resolve this particular issue. You
Sir?
understand? It would always. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. There's always a way to, but there are several, the cloud space. I mean, the attackers are evolving all the time. So there are several new ways of attacking our cloud spaces, as our databases, and our software and our information all the time. And then as long as Microsoft Azure is currently running, they also prepare themselves and have ways to mitigate all these problems when they arise. You understand? They also update themselves on new ways of how attackers attack our systems. So they provide resolutions. They always provide ways and how to resolve these issues as and when they arise. So yes, there are several new ways of you. Like I said, the internet has become a scary place. People find new ways to attacking your system all the time. So there are always new also ways to also protect ourselves from attackers as and when they arise.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, you're welcome.
A very quick one, sir. Is
okay.
all these things you mentioned now, are they applicable to AWS as well?
Yeah. They also have this particular same way of mitigating, because cloud systems need to be protected. So they also have their way, how they also protect or find ways to identify certain vulnerabilities in the system, and then how to mitigate those issues.
It is not exactly the same features as in Azure.
It may not be the So you will not find my Microsoft Defender for Cloud on the AWS platform, or Defender for Cloud on the Azure platform. But they also have their
own
security.
Name.
Yes, let me find that for you.
Thank you so much. I understand it now.
Okay.
Sorry, lastly, very quick one. So this Microsoft Defender for Cloud, is it open source or it is built in the Azure? I don't know.
Oh no, it is built in. It is built in there.
In Azure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it is not. It's not maybe built in the AWS, as the last speaker said. Only on Azure they can find out.
Yes.
Okay.
So the previous question, the person who asked about it. So the AWS system is called the AWS Security Hub. So DS is not called Defender for Cloud, it's called the Security Hub. So you have the same way of mitigating such issues there as well. So if you go on their system as well, you will have the same, not the same, but then similar way of, I hope you get me.
We are with you, sir.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So if that is all for this part of let me show the screenshots of how the attack path analysis should look like. Let me stop sharing this one and then. Let me share. Oh, give me a minute, please. So I hope you can see my screen now. So this is how it should look like. Like I said, you see, it looks exactly like what the recommendation side of the service looked like. It has the critical or the risk level. It has the title or the issue that it wants us to solve. It has the entry points. It has the targets. So this is telling you how the people are, whoever is trying to enter your system, where they are trying to enter from, the entry points. They also tell you what the target is. And then it also tells you the environments. I mean, like I said, you can connect more than one. So this is the Azure environment. The other ones that has the AWS environment in there. So it looks exactly the same. So we are going to move to the next screenshot that is looking at if you can see where the mouse pointer is, it's looking at the internet exposed Azure virtual machine with high severity vulnerabilities. Let me just move to the next slide so that you can look at it properly. And share my screen again. So yeah. High security vulnerability allows lateral movement of critical Azure storage accounts with sensitive data. So here, whoever is trying to attack your system is trying to look for is trying to access your storage accounts to access sensitive data. So the system is trying to tell us that, let me zoom in. So it gives you the description. It's telling you that the Azure virtual machine that was created. I mean, this particular side of the attack path analysis is focused on the virtual machine side. So it's telling us that it is reachable from the internet and has high severity vulnerabilities and allows remote code execution. So the Azure VM can authenticate as a service principal. So attackers is telling us that attackers can exploit the vulnerabilities via the internet and control the VM. Attackers can authenticate the service principal. You understand? And these are the resources that the resources within that virtual machine. There's a storage account in there. You understand? The virtual machine has a storage account in there. So whoever is trying to logging into the system is, or have access to the system is targeting what? The storage systems and trying to access whatever sensitive information you have in the storage. So this gives you a map of how the system looks like and how the person is trying to move through. So from the internet, access to your IP addresses goes to the servers. And then the last point of attack is what? The storage accounts. I don't know if you can see it. The storage accounts. So let's go to the next screenshot and see how to let me share. Okay. So this one is telling us the risk factors associated with this attack path analysis. It's critical. It's a critical resource. And then basically everything I've been saying. So let's go. It showed us how to mitigate this issue. So I don't know if you can see my. So you click whoever is behind this account or the administrator of this account will then click on the virtual machine, the symbol of the virtual machine, and it will open this server or this link, this page for the person, and to give you an insight of what is happening and how to select the actual vulnerability. The recommendation also gives you a recommendation on how to resolve the issue, the insights, how severe the vulnerability is, and then inspect also how exposed it is to the internet. So let's go to the next screenshot. Then on this side of the page, it tells you that okay, most of these parts are healthy, but the only reason why it's the attack part that problem has arose is because the machines.
Almost reached that.
Hello.
The watch with you no big practice for your life.
Okay, I don't think he's talking to me. Can you mute your mic, please? So the machines should have vulnerability finance resolved. So that is the unhealthy part of this particular attack path that it was able to identify. So by clicking on it, it will take you through the entire procedure where there's just like the one it gave us on the Azure platform with the recommendation side that I clicked on, that it gave us the quick fix where I can just click on it and have it fixed, or go through the manual way of solving the issue. So basically that's how it solves your issue, or that's how the attack path analysis is. It gives you a step-by-step way on it pinpoints the exact places where the attacker may try to find loopholes or enter into your system. I don't know if any of you were followed up with a screenshot that I showed and how we got here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. I think, are there any more questions? Are there any more insights that anybody wants to? wants to give before I hand over to Miss Priscilla. Hopefully we can close by.
Hello,
Hello?
sir.
Yes.
Sorry. Actually, we really appreciate your accommodating us and then answering all our concern. So I don't know, maybe in the next class, maybe we are going to cover the other part aspect, like the workbooks. I saw under is it inventory under what? I saw workbooks when you open the Microsoft Word, Defender. There's a workbooks, there's some tabs there. So I don't
Yes,
know
yes,
whether
yes,
you
yes.
can actually go through them. I don't know whether time is not on our side.
I think I talked about it. I don't know.
Maybe I missed the place. So
Yes.
no, we talk
Okay,
about
I
it
talked
now.
about the community, but I didn't talk about the workbooks. So
Uh-huh.
yes, these are
That,
just
please go ahead. That's my concern, sir.
okay. These are just, like how do I say it? It's like a textbook within a lesson within the platform. It allows you to just, I don't know,
Okay.
to just help you to understand. So like I said, Microsoft provides ways and means of how to resolve every issue that you may have. So the workbook side is just like, step-by-step procedures on how to resolve certain issues that may arise so the workbooks are just like textbooks or what you use to learn or what you use to resolve certain issues. And you can also share your thoughts and give your insights. So it's like how do you call it? Where you give your recommendations and remarks and questions and everything in the Azure platform. It's where you ask your questions.
Okay, like an help
A help book,
environment or
like
maybe
a help book, yes, a help environment, yes.
FAQs and all that.
Yes, exactly. And then the community part I talked about is where you can watch videos, learn, join blogs or where people would drop blogs, webinars, and other stuff to continuously learn about the Azure Defender for Cloud. Are you answered, please? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I have a question, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, based on the vulnerabilities or the threats, that should I just I don't know if my what's it called assumption is right. I believe the recommendation is given by Azure AI program. Now, to answer everything together, sir, if probably it is AI, because most times when I use AI to check on some stuff, I do notice like 70 to 80% of it are right.
Excuse me, I can't hear your voice. Can you ask the question again and then check on your microphone a little bit so that I can hear you clearly?
Can you hear me now, sir?
It's a bit better.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. I said, if I'm to say the your recommendation is a program for the defender rather for the
Yes, the
threat or
recommendation page, yes, the recommendation side.
programmed to be solved by AI. That was my assumption. Now, if that assumption is right or wrong, please, I would want you to expand it or go further. Because most times when I use AI to solve one or two problems, 80% of it is right, while 20 or 15% are not correct. My question is, now if one needs to follow the recommendation to clear the vulnerability and to or motivate. Now,
Mhm.
the question there is that is the recommendation will it work in full, or it is preferred for one to do the what's it called, instead of following the recommendation, can one do the manual
Mhm.
correction? That's the question.
Okay, so I didn't the last part that you just asked is the recommendation. Will it do what? And then about something about you manually doing something.
I said, is it preferred? Is it preferable to follow the
Oh,
adjust?
is it preferred to follow the recommendation? Okay, or go through the manual. Oh yes, yes. The first question you asked, I mean, AI has been incorporated in almost every aspect of the Azure, almost all the cloud platforms that we have available right now on the internet or in the world right now have all incorporated AI into most of the activities that they are performing now. Ideally, AI has even been there, machine learning and everything has even been there before its popularity now. So these things have actually been there for a very long time. So they use machine learning based on certain things that usually frequently happen. And the things that usually happen, or these are some of the things that can attack your cloud or your storage system or whatever system that you may have. So based on that, it tells you how to fix it or how to go about it. So yes, it is recommended that usually, even though it is AI gathering all this information for you, it is highly recommended that you usually use what they have provided for you. Usually use what they have provided. However, they just as the system knows that some like maybe you may be having this doubt or this question. It also gives you a way to what to go about and what solve these problems that you may have manually, because you might think that you've clicked on it, it has solved the issue for you, and then you go back and then the issue is still arising. So maybe you prefer to go about to go in a manual process or go and resolve this issue manually. That's why it also gave you a way of what resolving the issue as well. I don't know if you get what I said or I've answered your question.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, you're welcome.
I lost connection. No problem. But I'm back now.
Oh, sorry.
There's no problem. There's no
Well,
problem. I got connection the while
okay.
where you're asking my this thing, but no
Yeah, the
problem.
class is being recorded, so at the end of the day, you can still go back to it and then have a look at where you
Thank
missed.
you very much. Thank you very
All
much.
right. So, if that is all, I would like to hand over to Miss Priscilla to take over if there are no other questions and no other.
Sorry, the hand is up.
Okay. Sorry. I didn't see your hand. Sorry.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay, the page you open, I saw, I saw Azure, I saw AWS and GCP. Do
Yes.
they work together in that platform? Can you navigate from one to another?
So, not necessarily. The Azure platforms allow you to bring on board other cloud softwares that you may be running or other activities that you may be running on other cloud platforms here
Okay.
to protect you. You understand? So it will be able to you give it access, and then now it will be able to run scans and look out for vulnerabilities on that particular side. So they do not, in a way, they are working hand in hand because they allow you to access their systems and see the softwares or whatever resource that you have created, and then scanning it for all sorts of vulnerabilities and seeing what may be wrong and in what way the attacker may try to attack your system. So
Okay.
yeah, they work hand in hand, not by the companies, but by what you are. They provide a way that you, the user, you don't have to create several, because these things are paid for. You understand? You pay for these things, these services. So instead of paying for every service on each and every one, you can have all the services running on one particular side of it for you, so that you don't have to pay for three separate or other separate services. And it's usually better to have multiple or multiple authentications, like multiple ways of securing your resources, not just one way. You understand? It's always best to have multiple security softwares or security, how do you call it? Ways of protecting your stuff.
All right.
Okay. I may not be seeing any more hands, but if your hand is up, you can talk. If not, I'll hand over to Ms. Priscilla. Okay, Ms. Priscilla, I think you can take over now.
Thank you so much, Francis. Thank you so much. You've been able to learn a whole lot. I believe everyone has also been able to learn a whole lot from him. God bless you. And I want us to put it in the chat box and say thank you. Let's say a very big thank you to him. Let's tell him thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let's bombard him with thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Because I believe he has because I believe he has done a whole lot of
Thank you very much,
justice.
sir.
He has done a whole lot of justice to whatever it is that we've gotten to learn today. So that will be all for today's class. But before we leave, I just want to bring to our attention that the attendance link has been dropped in the chat box. So let me drop it again. And I've been seeing some of us comment saying that the link is not going from their end. I think it's probably your network. Try filling your attendance with another link. You will get the you should be able to it should be able to work, or maybe change your network, because the attendance link is working perfectly well from my end, and I believe majority of us has also been able to fill. But if we've not been able to fill the attendance link, please let's ensure we do so now. I've been bombarding the chat box with the attendance link. Please let's fill it too. Before I will, if anybody come and tell me, hey, I'm not nice, so not nice like Mr. Yola. Mr. Yola is our daddy, so it can still be nice. But anyways, the attendance link has been dropped on the group chat. This not the WhatsApp group chat, the call group chat. Please check. Check and fill the attendance form. Abdul, you are just coming to this class. Don't worry, we know you. But the attendance link has also been dropped on the chat box, rather. So you can click on it. So all right, just to remind us again, yes, the recordings will be sent to us. If you are still asking by week 7 if the recording links will be sent to us, that means you are still a novice in this, like in our group. You've not yet gotten yourself familiar with that, and we all know that attendance is usually, I say attendance, the class recording and the class presentation slides is always sent to us weekly. So it might not be immediately, but then it's always sent to us on or before the next class commence. So be rest assured that you will get it. And if you've missed class from day 1 to day 7, or even till next week, the recordings will be sent to you. Or it should be sent to us on the group chat. Please let's stay at alert, and then let's be on the group chat so we can know when it's being posted. Thank you so much for your time. Just to remind us again, next week is our last class for this cohort. I mean, this is one of the best.
Hello, yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I did not see my friend. I've been waiting to hear his voice, Mr. Ayola. Is he on the call?
I think he has an engagement. Me too, I've been waiting to hear from him. I mean, he
Because
left me with
me and
everybody
you
here.
get issue. Me and you get issue.
Me and you, or you and Mr.
Oh, me
Yola?
and you. Oh, me and you no get issue.
Okay,
Now
I
me
want
and
to
you
say
get
I'm
issue.
ready to fight now. If you want, I'm joking. Anyways, thank God you have his contacts. Please reach out to him. So I
Okay.
just, as I was saying, right, um the training slides will be sent to us over the course of the week, and then the recordings will also be sent to us over the course of the week. Next week is our last training session, and like I was saying, I'm not even going to lie, this is not me sugarcoating anybody to just make us feel good, but I really enjoyed the training sessions that we've been having with this course. You guys are the best, and the attentiveness, the ready to learn spirit is just top notch, and I really value that, and I respect everyone for that. So thank you so much for staying on the call, for 7 weeks. Tomorrow is when we'll be doing the round. I said tomorrow. Next week, Saturday, is when we're having our last class. Then, just like I said in the beginning of the call, if you missed that, maybe you didn't join in on time before we have the first speaker speak up. I was saying that we'll be taking our tests, our exam, the final exam that will determine the most determined certificate, if you will get it. Same with your attendance and then the class assignments that was given to us a few weeks back. But then our exam, this upcoming exam, is also very much important, and it will be sent to us after the last training session, which is going to be next week. So we might be getting the the test, the examination link, maybe from on the 24th, within 24th to 25th, 24, or let me say from 22nd to 25th, we should be expecting the examination link. And then our graduation will be on the 29th of November, which is the last Saturday of this month, 2025. And I think this is also the last training cohort for this year. We see each other again next year. But I think more information about that will be communicated to us during the graduation time. And please do can decide if you want to call your family and friends to come and watch you graduate. So before the graduation day, right, there will be a list of participants that will be graduating on that day that will be shared with us, so we can see our names on the Excel sheet, so we'd know that okay, we are free to go. Nobody should enter my DM later on to say that they did not see their names. Why? They joined the class for like 5 days. They not say, no, please, I've already said it. Okay, let me say that again. So I said that we are going to try and be lenient. We'll try and look at what we can do for those of us that do not have like 80% of our attendance. We'll try and see what we can do. And for those of us that has already messaged me to say, please don't message me now. But I mean, those people that have messaged me previously to say, okay, they've been having issues with their attendance and stuff like that, that have penned down their names, and I know. Don't worry, you are exempted.
Sorry. Okay, even you might have I have issue with you. I'm part of those that message you that I missed.
And I didn't respond to your message.
You didn't
So
respond.
is graduation online or on site?
During the day, that day that Mr. Yola had class, me and him, we got a long interaction. So along the way, my focus was on something like that happened. So I was so worried. So I even messaged you. I said, please, this Abdullah Samal Bukar, I miss kada 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 kada. You didn't respond to me. I said, oh, maybe.
You miss kada kada kada. It's not me. Oh, you messaged though. The people. I know list of people that I responded to was
Although I missed
Wisdom.
only 2 classes. I missed only 2 classes.
Oh, you're safe now. You don't have issues. I'm thinking of those people that did not even bother joining at all and at all and at all. And they're now trying to run eta skater in week 7.
So, but
please.
But when somebody missed 2 classes, it's still good to go.
I don't know. You will see your name. When you see your name, if you're good to go, you're fine.
No, Allah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that is it. So if you have genuine people, not the people that they just joined twice, they just joined the class twice, and they are coming to tell me that they've always been having network issues before they could sign out. That one is not my own. That one is not my own business. So those people that have genuine issues, genuine ones with their attendance, my contact is in the group chat, the WhatsApp group chat. And it is I mean, you will see it, I'm an admin there. Please message me. If I read your message and it's looking like ChatGPT message or AI or Google or any form of you went to go and tweak your messages to just make it sound like as if you are very, very sad that you will not get somewhere, I would know. Thank God we are all tech experts. I would know. So I would read your message. If I see it and I go and check the attendance list back end and I not see that you've even attended at least 3 classes, oh, sorry for you. So all right, so let's all note that. So you can reach out to me so we can try to resolve the issues, because I would not be pardoning anybody again. as from next week when we are done with our last class. So you have the grace of now to the next class that we'll be having on the 22nd. So you have the grace from now, which is on the 15th, to on the 21st of November. 21st of November, message me about your attendance issues, then we'll look at it. If you message me outside of that, I'm not going to, at least I've tried. Am I not nice? I've tried a bit. If you message me outside of that time, I'm not going to answer anybody, because during that time, after that time is judgment day. During exam period, I don't want to, it's not going to be fair on those that have been on the call since the beginning of this class. I should now have to surpass them and then give those that have not even joined at all, now give them free pass. No, it's not going to work. Please, I hope we fill the attendance form already before we go off the call. Let me post it again so that we'll see it again and you not say you did not see it. Hope we've seen the attendance list. Hope we filled it though. Hope we filled it. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. It was nice having everyone on the call. See you guys again same time next week to have a wonderful session with us all. So thank you. God bless you. To have a lovely weekend and a lovely rest of the week. So thank you. So for the graduation, someone is asking if it is on-site or online. It is online. No? It's online. If it's on-site, that means some of us, we have to fly into Nigeria to come and take their graduation. But it is online. It's online. We are getting there, Sha. We can do it one day. So it's online. Thank you, Professor Stats. I'm saying Stats Rom. Thank you, Professor Stats Rom, for the compliments. So thank you all. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.
Thank you, man. Wonderful weekend ahead.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ms. Priscilla. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the class. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.